Hey, you're
Oh,
muted.
oh, I'm muted. Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
Hey, I
Sorry.
think I think you did that backwards because I heard you whistling while.
Yeah, I know I deliberately did that because just I wanted to whistle along here. And Mark, I forgot for a second how great my intro music was, so I was just enjoying that.
I know you forgot. I'm surprised you learned. I mean, I'm surprised you remember how to even like turn it on.
Yeah, I didn't. I just randomly clicked some things. I don't even know if we're on the right channel now.
Dino be the witness just said AP is such a noob now. You're a noob. You
Yeah,
don't know how to do anything.
yeah. I don't know anything about YouTube. I don't know anything about live streaming. I have no idea. I forgot everything. I don't know how to make videos. I don't even know how to Islam. Yeah.
I don't know if you I don't know if you're actually like that, but I am. Like I would I mean, I've made probably 1,500 videos over the years using iMovie. I use Final Cut sometimes, but mostly probably 95 to 98% of the stuff I do is like just iMovie. If I take a couple months off, I go back on there. I'm like, I don't know how to use any of this.
Oh yeah.
I
That's
forget all the shortcuts and stuff like that, and have to do everything manually. I mean,
that is pretty bad. No, I'm not a weakling like that.
you're
I remember
strong.
I'm strong.
You're
I
strong.
remember things very, very well because I'm very strong and very smart. Oh my god. Staying away from this whole scene kind of made me forget about all the bragging and the weird stuff that we have heard here on our fights between us and the very nice defenders of the Islamic religion. Now I'm remembering all of that again, and now I'm thinking maybe I should just forget about this and leave again. Stop the live stream here. But
To be fair, I've said this before, but I don't think at this point, I don't think we need to do anything. I think we could just sit back and watch because I think it's imploding.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that some people were. I saw that there was a fight, that there was a beef going on between Sajid Lipman and Daniel Hikikichu. I know this because I receive notifications whenever Sajid Lipman posts something because I love that guy's channel. I only receive notifications from few channels, and one of them is Sajid Lipman. Other than that, I think I don't even receive notifications from you. I care more about Sajid Lipman than I care about you, David.
Obviously.
So anyway, because of that, I got wind of a fight between Daniel Hikikichu and Sajid Lipman, and then Mohammed Hijab jumped in, and then some others. I don't know what's going on. Last I saw was that people were calling Daniel Hikikichu a Hariji, which is those who were the
They
rebellious
still exist.
outsiders who
I
want
think they
to.
just use that as an insult now, right? You're
Yeah,
not saying
pretty
you're
much.
officially that. Or,
They have done that forever. It's just they don't actually exist. People just call them that. Oh boy, wait a minute, my battery is. What's going on here?
yeah,
Wait,
I didn't even know. I'll just talk to everyone while you're getting your battery. But I didn't even know that Sajid had something going on with what'd you say, Daniel? It's hard to keep it all straight because I didn't watch the video, but I saw people saying Daniel Hakikachu destroyed Sheikh Uthman, and other people saying Sheikh Uthman destroyed Daniel Hakikachu and stuff. And I don't know what happened in the videos and stuff, but
he is also
all these
involved.
no, like it's different. It's different. There's a Hakikachu and Sheikh Uthman thing. They had some sort of discussion. I've seen it in the thumbnails. I just haven't watched any of it. You're pointing out Sajid versus Daniel, and then of course there was Sajid versus Ali Dawa, and Hijab jumped in. Now, AP, true or false? But like you're talking like 4 or 5 years ago, I'm sitting there telling the world, if we just let these guys go, they're all going to start destroying each other because they're with the exception of I wouldn't call Hakikachu a narcissist. He doesn't fit the description. And I wouldn't call and Sajid isn't. But all their other like top Dawa guys are like complete spoiled, attention craved narcissists. And when you put people like that in charge of your Dawa, you're going to run into some problems because guys, if you don't know anything else about narcissists, just get the idea of like a sun in a solar system and all the planets going around it. That's how they want the universe to be. They're in the middle. Everything else is going around them. And when things aren't like that, they try to attack and make everything circle them. Well, if you get a couple of people like that who are all like that, and they all want everything revolving around them, you inevitably get these guys starting to attack each other. So that's why I said I think we could just sit back and watch, and they would implode.
Yeah. No, you said that all along. I remember you say that over and over again. And to be fair, it's not very hard to predict that that's how it will go. So you have a very easy job in predicting that.
Yeah, and right now I can make another prediction. I predict more of an avalanche. Watch, we'll see if I'm right.
Oh yeah, I predict that bad things will happen, and that will obviously be true. That
I have
will
a
happen.
cold right now, by the way, so I'm going to be eating cough drops here. I don't mean anything by it.
That's very rude.
I'm not trying to send any signals that your live stream is boring, and
That's
so I'm
very,
eating cough
very,
drops.
that's very rude on your part. So, you brought up some nice points there. Narcissism, which immediately reminded me of a certain individual who allegedly converted to Islam recently. And we're talking about Andrew Tate. The funny thing is, I saw some interactions between the Muslims and Andrew Tate, and I also looked into Andrew Tate's background. I even wanted to, like, while I was taking a break from everything, I wanted to come back and just make a video titled "I Wish I Was Like Andrew Tate," and it was going to be a parody in which I basically mentioned all the horrible, detestable things that Andrew Tate did in the past or still does. But then around that time, all I did was I just made a tweet and said, I think Andrew Tate should convert to Islam. And then apparently, I didn't even have any idea. Apparently, right around that time, maybe before that or after that, he actually did convert to Islam. And I thought, wow, I didn't, I didn't really mean it, but but I think it's actually perfect because he fits right in with his personality into that whole narcissist, I hate you and I have a problem with you, let's fight mindset that is also carried around by many of these Islamic apologists.
Yeah, I had no clue who Andrew Tate was. I remember a couple of times, probably over the past, I don't know, 8 months or something like that. I did get messages from a couple of people along the way saying, David, there's this guy named Andrew Tate. He's popular on TikTok, but he's saying positive stuff about Islam. Can you go set him straight and stuff? I'm like, one, I'm not going on TikTok. I don't have any problem, but I'm just like, I don't have time to get involved in TikTok. So I'm thinking, no, if you're falling for anything in Islam, kind of okay.
Yeah,
that's your problem. You got issues. And then it wasn't a big thing until and then I saw something about him getting banned from a ton of social media platforms, and then all of a sudden he was converting to Islam. And so then it got interesting because then people started sending me clips and I started watching this guy. And so he's been praising Islam for like a couple of years, but not like, oh, I've examined the life of Muhammad and I've gone through the hadith and I've discovered that this guy's a prophet. He's like, it's more along the lines of, he almost sounds like he's talking about like the stock market, right? He say, hey, if you had to bet on a stock that's going to last, what are you going to bet on? And he says, well, I'd bet on Islam because Islam is going to keep people in check and so on. But if you looked at the things he was saying, why Islam is going to last, it was things like, because they'll kill everybody. They'll kill everyone who disagrees with them. And then there's a clip I shared where he was making fun of. It's funny because making fun of Christians, but criticizing Muslims, but not realizing how he's actually criticizing Muslims and showing that they worship Muhammad. So he says, if you walk down the street in London with a shirt that says Jesus is gay, nothing's going to happen to you. But if you walk down the street of London. Yeah, he said, if you walk down the street in London with a shirt that says Muhammad is gay, you'd be dead before you reach the end of the street. And everyone's like, oh, you see, well, it's great. It's like, wait a minute. Don't Muslims also believe in Jesus? So the Muslims won't attack someone over another prophet either, right? So Muslims aren't going to attack someone over someone they believe in either, except Muhammad. They're not even going to do it over God. If you walk down the street saying God is gay or something like that, they're not going to kill you over that either. It's only with Muhammad. Yeah. And so, wait a minute, Andrew, you're saying Muslims have this Muhammad in this special category where he's higher than all other prophets, higher than God himself. and this is some sort of good thing about Islam. Anyway, the point is everything he's saying is like Muslims will deal with the LGBTQ stuff by killing everyone. Muslims will help people keep their wives in check by beating them into submission, right? And it's like how Islam is the only thing that's going to survive all the ruckus that's going around in the rest of the world, because Islam's just going to kill everybody. And so he's been saying stuff like that for a couple of years, and then he converts, and Muslims, Alhamdulillah, you see, he saw the power of Islam.
That is so dumb. It is like he sympathizes with Islam and eventually converts to Islam, not because he realizes that Islam is true with its, or that Islam is accurate with its truth claims, with all the stuff that it says and prophesies and all that. He just converts to Islam because he thinks it is the stronger thing that does exactly what he wants a religion to do, which is to basically be intolerant and violent and oppressive and all that stuff. It is so ridiculous, but it also reminds me of actually of how Daniel Kikuchu preaches Islam and how he debates Islam. Because from my experience with Daniel Kikuchu is that he doesn't approach people and say, Islam is true because, of these and these prophecies and this and this and that logic. No, he just tries to convince people that Islam is good and or true because Islam is the strongest religion that will survive the human tendency to go corrupt, because it is so firm and all the other religions are weak. And that is basically the way Andrew Tate apparently thinks, which is why he converts to Islam, which is just so idiotic in my opinion.
Very similar. And yeah, when you're talking about like a Kikuchu, it does seem very similar to Andrew Tate in that for both of them, it's, like I can't even think of how Hakikachu defends Muhammad as a prophet. I don't know, because it's more like whenever I hear him, it's more like Islam is a form of social control that's going to protect you from all these things that are scaring you, because the world is changing so fast. The world's changing really, really rapidly. There's all these things you're worried about. You're worried about feminism. You're worried about LGBTQ stuff. You're worried about all this stuff. You're worried about your kids. So that's why you need Islam, because Islam will protect you from all this stuff.
Because Islam keeps you in the 7th century, and therefore Islam is good, and therefore you should convert to Islam. That's basically what he does.
Oh, but by the way, I mean, so Andrew Tate converted, and then like Muslims were sending me piles of messages. I don't know if you were paying attention. I'm sure you got them too. But you see, Andrew Tate, no, he's seen that Islam is true. And it's funny because I was thinking, like, the little bit that I saw right beforehand, I mean, I wouldn't wish Islam upon anybody. But if someone had come to me saying, David, you have to pick one person in the world to convert to Islam and be their new champion, I'd have been like, oh, Andrew Tate, take that guy, get that guy, right? And what's interesting is I have to make a video on this. It's a weird situation because I could literally post a video about Andrew Tate every day for the next year because of all the dumb stuff he says, and use every last video to expose Islam. But I'm not sure how much attention to give to it. But at the same time, I kind of feel like you have to do it now because I don't think he's going to last. But I mean, he's got things where you can send him a tweet saying, Andrew Tate is my Lord, Master, Savior, and God, and he'll actually retweet it. Right? He'll share this stuff. He keeps tweeting pictures of him surrounded by hot babes, and he keeps tweeting out like webcam girls. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, so a webcam girl will send him a message on Twitter and he'll just say haram and retweet it. But he still got the tweet from the webcam girl, and like picture in her bikini or something like that. And he'll just say haram. And I'm like, wait a minute, you literally have a webcam business. Yeah. And you're saying haram to these webcam girls, but you're actually posting pictures of the webcam girls so that people can go click on their stuff. And it's like, are you playing some sort of 4-dimensional chess here where this is all like a joke and you're just trying to, fuel your business? But the point is, so if it were anything other than Islam, I would look at this and say, this is just a massive grift here. He's just scamming everybody. But when it's something that, literally calls for your death once you eventually leave it, it's like, oh, this would be a really dangerous.
I don't think he would care about that. I think if he, to be honest, as far as I understand him, as far as I've seen, Andrew Tate will probably eventually stop caring about Islam, and when asked, just say, it was just something that I did in the past. He will not be a Muslim forever. I doubt it, and he will not care about the whole apostasy thing. He will just play a big tough guy and say, "Well, come if you want to, if you want to harm me, if you think you can do anything, come to me." And he will do the whole tough guy behavior. The thing is, I had no idea who Andrew Tate is. I had no clue at all. I only saw that one video that you mentioned earlier, where he praises Islam because it is so amazing, because it subdues women and is intolerant and all of that. And then I encountered short videos of him everywhere suddenly on my YouTube feed, on my YouTube Shorts feed, a bunch of stuff that he says about society, about men, about women. And the thing is, I heard the things that he said and I thought, wow, this guy is a complete moron. I mean, this guy is a typical example of somebody who is being turned into a hero by stupid people who have very strong feelings about certain things that they are too stupid to talk about. But then somebody comes out and actually does talk about them very loudly, and they're like, wow, this guy is my hero. But when you actually listen to the stuff that he says, it's like very, very dumb. It's stuff that I thought about when I was 16 years old.
Yeah.
And and that guy eventually, I sat down when I saw that he engages more with Islam. I sat down and looked into this guy, and I looked into everything that he did, and I actually made a list of the stuff that he did, which I wanted to point out in a video, such as he bullied someone because they were organizing a fundraiser for their sick child. He actually responded by bullying that guy and saying, if you beg me, I will send you money and stuff like that. And I don't know, lots of terrible stuff.
Along those lines, before you move on to other creepy stuff. It was just a guy who posted that he had some child who needed some emergency medical care or something like this, and he posted, said he can't afford it. Can anyone chip in? I'm someone who's been in that situation before, right? You don't know, hey, this is going to happen to my kid all of a sudden, or my kid's going to be born and this is going to be the situation. You don't know that. It totally catches you off guard. Yeah. But he was like degrading the guy, like, you loser. Don't you admit you're a loser? Fine, admit you're a loser and beg, and then I'll help you with your kid. It's like, totally. He's still like that. So this was after he became a Muslim. After he became a Muslim, he shared screenshots from his phone of a woman who's saying, hey, I need a real top G, blah, 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 blah. And he's going, well, I will introduce you to God. So share a video with your friend of both of you begging to like be my servants or whatever it was, right? And it's like, wait, you're talking about, hey, I'm going to introduce you to I'm going to, show you girls Islam. But in order to get through the door, you have to post a video of yourself degrading yourself and begging me. So he apparently has it looks like he gets off on it, like people groveling before him, please, top G, please. And like, the girls he surrounds him with have to be like that. But
the guy is a prime example of what a narcissist is. Like he's very extreme. You don't see that example. You don't see an example like that very much in the real world outside. But that guy is actually a guy who goes to very great extends to make himself look great and amazing, and who really takes pleasure in humiliating others and also showing people that he humiliates others. He loves it. Mm-hmm. And that kind of guy finds his way into Islam. And then what I see is online, there is a video of him explaining why he converted to Islam, in which he doesn't actually explain why he converted to Islam. And then in the comment section, you have people saying stuff like, Allah guides those who have a pure heart and good intentions. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wow, is that really an example of somebody who has a good heart, who has a pure heart and good intentions, and who is then guided by Allah to Islam because he's just such a wonderful human being? Is that really your example? And then you really want to go out and claim that others who would do the opposite of what Andrew Tate does, who would actually go out, help people selflessly, are not guided to Islam because their hearts are not pure. I mean, don't you see the absurdity in all of that? It is just ridiculous. But that was, again, one thing that I thought I wanted to talk about, and then I thought, you know what, leave it alone. I don't care right now.
Yeah, he's one of the guys, like I'd have to watch a lot more of his stuff, and I don't want to do that. But I still I can't figure him out. Like, I can't figure out like at what level is he playing a character and at what level is he serious, right? Because I think it's clearly a combination. Sometimes he's obviously playing a character. And guys, if you don't know, like, if you want to attract an audience, you can do that without believing everything you're saying, right? So you could just notice the climate, right? Like, you could notice, hey, a lot of people don't like Elon right now, and you could make yourself the champion of trashing Elon and get a following doing that. If you don't like, whether it's, politics on the right or politics on the left, you could just become the outraged person against that and get a follow. Notice, you could be the outraged person and be sincerely outraged because that is your view, but you could also just be like a scammer saying, hey, here's a role I can play. I can play a role right here. Just bash the crap out of that group over there. And all the people who are concerned about that group over there are going to rally around me, and I'm going to be their hero. And so it's just a question of like how much he's like that. It's obviously the case to some extent, because I mean, he's posted, hang on.
Is this financial advice, by the way, to people?
Yeah. If you want to, notice, I mean, like, no, it's serious in the sense that there are people like this, but notice AP. People, you're just making these videos for money. If you wanted to be a millionaire, all you'd have to do is convert to Islam and say, hey, it's after all these years of critiquing Islam, I've realized that Islam is strong and I can't function without it. And so Muhammad is a true prophet and everything. After reading the Quran, it finally clicked and I see that it's true. And you would be showered with money for the rest of your life. But man, where's that? Where is that? I'm looking for this. Here it is. And let me get his message up. But he started attacking books. He started making fun of books. Oh, here it is. Reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life. So they try and learn from the life others have lived. But you really never learn unless you lived it. You must feel it to believe it. Books are a total waste of time. Education is for cowards. Education is for cowards, right? Now, it's hard to believe someone actually. Yeah, that's a tweet. It's hard to believe someone actually believing that, but like, education is for cowards and things like that. So it's like, I don't know what to believe. But what's interesting here, and this is, again, I could make videos about Andrew Tate for months with no problem. One I definitely want to make is something like Muslim women were right about Andrew Tate, because it was the Muslim women. When he converted, the Muslim guys and all the Dawah guys, alhamdulillah, this is the new proof that Islam is true. Andrew Tate converted to it. Him so strong, him stronger than you, right? So they were like that. But Muslim women were posting videos like Shabir Ali's daughter. Someone else, she wears a niqab. I think she talked to you once. Something Philosopher's Corner.
Oh yeah,
she wears a niqab. Yeah, her. She made a video there, and what was interesting is all the guys are like reacting purely emotionally.
Yeah,
we're him so strong. Aha! This is the savior of Islam. And Muslim women are posting videos, basically saying things along the lines of, "Guys, we believe that people could be forgiven for things they've done in the past, but why aren't we waiting at all to see what this guy does? How are we not waiting at all to see whether this guy actually changes now that he's converted to Islam?" And so it was Muslim women who are saying, hey guys, you need to pump the brakes here and see how devout a Muslim this guy turns out to be before you run around the world portraying him as the new savior of Islam. And so they were behaving very calm and rationally, and the Muslim men were totally overcome by their emotions at their joy of seeing the Tater convert to Islam. But notice, AP, you're familiar with this. We've got the passages in the Muslim sources where the testimony of women is worth half that of a man. And when Muhammad's asked why, he says it's because of the deficiency of a woman's intellect. And if you point out, wait a minute, there's basically no real difference between the IQ averages of men and women. There's a slightly different bell curve, but average IQ, they're pretty much dead even. So what do you mean deficiency of a woman's intellect? It doesn't make sense. And then the response from people who try to defend what Muhammad said, the response is they say, It's not saying IQ. It's just saying that women are emotional. Women are more emotional, and so
Yeah.
you can't trust what they're saying. But notice this whole scenario refutes that. It's Muslim men who are so emotional. They're cheering a guy who's literally calling himself God in his tweets by retweeting people who call him God and posting webcam girls and education is for cowards and stuff like that. But they're cheering this guy. But the women are the ones going, no, not so fast. We need to be careful here. We need to make sure before we're presenting this guy. And I think it was Millihan who pointed out, wait a minute, for a while Andrew Tate was going around saying it was a Christian, and I didn't see any Christians propping him up saying he's our new champion. He said, what? But so she says, why is it like instantly as soon as he converts, we're jumping all over him? So I think
Because they're very emotional about this.
yeah, my interest. So my interest in all this is not Andrew Tate. My interest is using Andrew Tate to point out some of these ridiculous problems in Islam, and even like you pointed out, he's not giving arguments. It's just Islam is here to protect me. The one time I saw him give an argument for Islam, it was in his discussion with Muhammad Hijab, and he said, "The reason I believe in God, is because I've seen Shaitan." Right? He says, "I've seen evil," and he actually says, "I've seen Shaitan." And if there's this evil, then there must be an equal and opposite good. and that's Allah. And it's like, wait, dude, you just let him slide on that? Like, Allah is the equal but opposite to Satan? That's like interesting. So like, it seems like someone should like be like, dude, Allah is not the equal and opposite of Satan. Satan's just this little created thing. It went on a tantrum. But anyway, interesting stuff.
Oh man. So here's a tweet that you mentioned. It says, reading books is for losers who are afraid to learn from life. So they try and learn from the life others have lived. But you never really learn unless you lived it. You must feel it to believe it. Books are a total waste of time. Education for cowards. And this tweet is just a screenshot that I found. I meanwhile went and actually found the real tweet. The tweet has 52,000 likes at the moment. Of course, a lot of people also in the comments bashing it. Some of his own fans saying, "Oh, this is kind of weird, anti-intellectualism." But really, I mean, this is the guy who is the new
savior,
the new Muslim hero, the savior.
He's the Mahdi.
I wonder what he thinks about the Quran, since he thinks books are for losers and
madrasas as well.
Yeah, I wonder if he should have a conversation with Muhammad Hijab about what he thinks about books.
No. By the way, notice this is exactly what I mean when I say I could post a video a day forever about this guy. You just off this one tweet. Andrew Tate declares the Quran is for losers because reading books is for losers, and stuff like that. Or Andrew Tate declares Islamic education is for cowards and stuff because education in general is for
that
cowards.
Is a quite accurate
Islam is the Quran is a waste of time, declares Andrew Tate. What's funny is like his entire system is, all you losers out there need to come to me. I'll be your new champion. Everyone come to me to learn everything. It's like, wait a minute. You're the guy who's saying don't learn from books because you have to learn everything by your own experiences. But you're saying take all these guys who are sitting around playing video games and just come do whatever you say. So they're learning from your experience. But I thought that's haram now.
Yeah. Anyway, enough of Abdullah Tate. What else is there? What else have I missed?
What else have you missed? How long you been gone? Couple months?
I think my last video was published like 3 months ago or so. And
by the way, I get messages all the time. What happened, AP? What happened, AP? And I would just say it's called creator burnout, guys. Is that what happened? Get burned
pretty
out?
Much. I became. I don't know. It wasn't even planned. Like I said, I'm taking a break, but I didn't even sit down and think, okay, I think I'm going to take a break. It just happened because I didn't feel like publishing anything. I didn't feel like going online and talking about anything. Couldn't edit any videos. I just felt totally. Yeah, it was that. It was the burnout.
Yeah, that's called. All YouTubers go through that. It's basically, guys. YouTube. Now, keep in mind. being a social media person who gets to spend your time doing that is awesome. You get to stay at home talking about all the stuff that you like talking about and the issues that are important to you. But it's different from, a traditional job where you go to work and then, you work 9 to 5 and then you come home and then you're done with your work, in the sense that, like, if you're doing stuff on social media, it's all you're being bombarded by stuff all day long. And like, as soon as you wake up, oh, I have to check this, I have to work on this, I have to work on this for my video and have to get this done, blah, blah, blah. And oh, I have to check the comments on this. And oh, let me check how this video is performing. And do I need to adjust that thumbnail? And it's like that all day, every day. And keep in mind, it is cool, but there's a cost, because the impact it's having on you is actually similar to a drug. You're getting these little dopamine bursts, dopamine shots all day from social media and so on. And it's basically like that still continues, but your brain gets used to it. And so it's like a person who's on cocaine for 3 or 4 years straight. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're like, I'm just worn out. Same stuff's going, but I'm just worn out. I have no energy. Like, wait a minute, you're on cocaine, dude. You're on cocaine. How are you worn out? Yeah, my body has adapted to it. And now what the heck? I just, And so
it's also
got to take a break and detox.
Also, the whole publicity, the attention. It's when I was younger, I thought it would be great to be known, at least on some level, for trying to change something, for having a message. I thought it would be a great thing, but after getting somewhere and after becoming somewhat known, becoming sort of a public figure, which I don't even consider myself or don't even want to really think of, I feel like I don't really. It's very exhausting to be publicly known, and it actually. You probably can't relate to this because you're a psychopath, but but it's kind of exhausting to have this to be known by a lot of people so often. I want to sit back and just disappear from everyone's mind and be completely unknown to everybody. And that is also one thing that creeps up and kind of bothers me, and then makes me want to sit down and step back and take a break. And I don't know, a lot of those things were had an impact on me eventually not making any videos for a while. But yeah,
especially with the creator burnout. I mean, since you're an atheist and have no meaning in life, it's hard to even push through stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so you missed a bunch of stuff. I've seen a lot of people are commenting. So there's the Kanye thing.
Oh boy,
there's
I didn't really miss that.
Sheikh Uthman, Ibn Ketchup, all that stuff. Iran, and World Cup. Those are the big things you missed.
Yeah, World Cup I'm following very closely, actually.
What? I thought you're an American citizen now.
Yeah, I don't care.
That wasn't required? I would expect that to be on the document. Do you renounce any interest in soccer?
It's not called soccer, it's called football. So, no, I have been following that very, very, very closely, definitely. And I'm eagerly waiting to watch the finale. We probably don't know what that is and who plays and what that actually does, what it means and all that. But yeah, France and Argentina are going to go against each other for the cup.
That's the point right there. If this were a sport that required a drop of testosterone, France would not be in the finals, right? It wouldn't be there. Right?
It does a lot. I have to stand up for my European background here and tell you to stop.
They should call it. Yeah. They should call it estrogen ball.
Estrogen ball. No, yeah, that's good. I'm aware of that. But the whole Kanye West thing, I followed that. I saw it as it happened, and it actually made me very angry, because I feel like the whole Jew-hating, anti-Semitism thing, I feel very strongly about that because of my own past of growing up within a very anti-Semitic household and a very Jew-hating, conspiracy theorist religious culture and community. And aside from I'm not just talking about Islam and Muslims, aside from that, I was specifically my parents and I were specifically part of a religious community that was very apocalyptic and very Jew-hating, very anti-Semitic, where I learned as a child that the time will probably come soon where we will fight the Jews and they are planning all kinds of things and all that. So when I see some some Jew hating under the disguise of, oh, we're just talking about the truth, it's not hate going on, it just makes my blood boil. And I wanted to come out and talk about Kanye West too, but then I thought, you know what, I don't care right now about making a statement on that. But yeah, I saw that going on, and I made a quick post on my YouTube community tab, and I linked a video by these guys, Israel Advocacy Movement. But so the controversy was that Kanye West, who is now known as Ye, came out and partnered up with Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos and said stuff like that he likes Hitler and he loves Jews, but he also loves Nazis. He doesn't hate anybody and all that. But and some people want to make the excuse for him that he didn't mean it in a bad way, that he's just being a good Christian and just saying we should love everybody, no matter who they are, even Hitler. But that is clearly not what's going on. What's going on is that this guy is actually adopting these Nazi ideas, Nazi ideologies, these white nationalist segregationist ideas, and speaking in a degrading way of different groups of people based on their ethnicity, based on their race or their ethno-religious groups. He is actually saying stuff like that the Holocaust didn't really happen, that the details there are mostly false, which is a Nazi talking point, that the Jews themselves have in their religion problems which are dehumanizing to others, which is a Nazi talking point. That Hitler, he said that Hitler invented roads and
highways
and the microphone, which is just the dumbest thing I've heard. He didn't invent the what he did was he built a lot of roads in Germany. I mean, during his administration, a lot of roads were built to make the military move better throughout Germany, but he didn't invent any of those things. No. So those are also some pretty crazy talking points. And the issue is the people that he has with him, Nick Fuentes and Milo Yiannopoulos, are both Nazis. You simply cannot say it otherwise. Milo Yiannopoulos was not a Nazi in the past, at least outwardly. He was just a very offensive, hardcore right-wing commentator. But he, over time, recently, especially after he was kicked off from Twitter and all of social media, turned toward getting educated by Nazis and actually adopting their ideas, and even saying stuff like that Jews deserve to be massacred and that he wants to see secular Jews executed, all of them executed. He actually said that. Somebody is saying Milo is Jewish himself. That's not true, by the way. It's not true. Milo himself said in an interview that he made with this guy, this nutcase Rouge, he said, when asked about his Jewish heritage, that he said in the past he is of Jewish origin, but that's actually not true, and that this was just a lie that his mother, who is according to himself a pathological liar, made up and which he believed. But he has no Jewish heritage. He's not in any way Jewish, and now he can be a full hardcore Nazi who says that massacring groups of people is okay because they're behind all the bad stuff in the world. So I don't know, lots of Nazi stuff going on, and people are not taking it seriously. People think it's okay because Kanye West has some deep genius insights, which I don't even understand. I mean, when I listen to the guy, I hear, again, just like with Andrew Tate, I hear a deeply delusional guy who doesn't say very intelligent things. He is clearly mentally ill, and he rejects his diagnosis and says, "No, I am not. I'm not mentally ill. I just have superpowers," which is a very common thing that people with a psychosis say in response to their diagnosis. And people just need to stop making excuses, just recognize the illness and the problems there and openly speak about it and admit it.
Yeah, and that's the difference between someone like Kanye and someone like Nick Fuentes is Kanye. So Kanye is bipolar. For anyone who doesn't know, he's bipolar. And so there's a manic phase where you feel extremely high energy. And that's true of the manic phase for anyone. You're just like high energy. Some people go days without needing sleep and so on. You feel invincible. But for some people, it's combined with delusions and hallucinations. And like you could start all of a sudden like going with conspiracies and so on. And so it seems people have said that Kanye had problems with Jews beforehand. But now that he's saying, now that he's going around, praising Hitler and Nazis and stuff like that, he's clearly in a manic phase. It's just a question of eventually it's going to wear off. It might be 2 weeks from now. It might be 2 or 3 months from now. The manic phase is going to wear off. And then we'll kind of get an idea of, oh, guys, I was wrong about this, and that. It's like, how much of you, the real question is how much of that do you actually hold when you're not in your manic phase? Like when you're regular, I don't want to say regular person because he's still Kanye either way. He's not the most regular guy.
Here is the thing, very quick thing to add. Here is the issue. He refuses to take his medication, apparently, according to the latest updates, because he thinks that there is a Jewish plot against him to prevent him from becoming the civil rights leader and the superhero that he is by medicating him, which is why they made up the whole diagnosis and the idea that he's ill. And this is, again, a very psychotic response. So...
Yeah, it's clear that like his manic phases have like psychotic elements to them. He's having breaks with reality. That's why it's like it's extremely despicable for people like Nick Fuentes and Milo to sort of jump on board with him for some temporary popularity, knowing that this guy's like burning his career to the ground. And like at the end of this, when he snaps out of his manic phase, he's like lost billions of dollars and his career's in shambles and he can't work with anyone anymore. And these guys, they just used him as like a little springboard to be relevant.
Which is also pathetic because Nick Fuentes is actually somebody who thinks that there is a racial factor in how some people are intelligent and others are not, and some are good and others are not. And he actually has that whole idea that black people are like inferior beings. And what he then does is to hop on the back of a black guy to gain relevance and to gain political success. It's just so pathetic on so many levels. I can't even put it in words. But yeah, that's one thing that happened over the last weeks or the last months.
Hey, but by the way, notice the parallels, because Milo several years ago was similar to Kanye, and I actually liked Milo when he started off and he's just going around on college campuses arguing with everyone. I thought it was hilarious. And you could be anyone if you're going on college campuses just starting arguments with everyone. I thought it was hilarious back then because like the college campuses would invariably just throw tantrums and start screaming and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, you guys need that. You need to be confronted with guys who make you flip out. So you learn to get over it and stuff like that. But notice that's kind of what I think of Andrew Tate. The guys who go around deliberately flipping everyone out in order to get attention, they usually don't last very long because normally eventually you offend and upset everyone and then no one wants to deal with you anymore. Or you cross a line like with Milo, it was him defending the relationship of teenage boys with older men or something like that. So eventually you cross some lines. So the people who are like shock jocks and stuff like that, they tend to not last long. That's why I'm thinking, we just started hearing about Andrew Tate recently. Don't think he's going to last. But Kanye is another parallel where so Kanye's been flipping out about Jews recently. And he's apparently said things in the past as well. But imagine Kanye coming out tomorrow saying, I've realized that the biggest problem in the world is Jews. And Islam is the only thing that's going to help me deal with that. So I'm converting to Islam. You would think people would step back and go, let's see how this plays out. But it wouldn't. You see, this is the new proof. Now we have both Andrew Tate and Kanye. You see, they're all converting to Islam because it's the truth.
And you know what would also happen? Mohammed Hijab would immediately try to get in touch with Kanye West to
Let's
be
do
on
an
his
interview.
side and to do an interview and praise him for his and welcome him in the warmest way possible.
Yep. That would be it. And but notice it's the same what we just criticized Nick Fuentes and Milo for doing, like clinging to this guy for a boost in their popularity. That's what like Ali Dawa and Muhammad Hijab and all these guys do with Andrew Tate, right? It's like, oh, here's a quick popularity boost for us. And we're just going to learn him. Even though this guy's probably going to crash and burn eventually, we could get some views out of it in the meantime. These guys are all like, it's weird how like all these, there are so many parallels with all these people who are doing this stuff.
Yeah. Just one little thing to add. I know we're talking about a lot of stuff that we usually don't talk about here on this channel, but with Milo, I did like him too because of the way he argued and talked and made people mad in the beginning. So I liked him like years ago. But what actually happened is he wasn't actually a different guy back then. He was pretty much behind the mask that he was wearing. He had these ideas that he has right now. There was a whole leak of all his emails and private emails and passwords and stuff like that happened, which kind of ruined his career. And it came out back then already that he was fascinated with white nationalism and the Nazis and the Holocaust and stuff like that. So he always was inclined toward hating the Jews and blaming them for everything and being pretty much a Nazi. Now he's just doing it publicly and honestly up front.
Hey, so, check this out. Yeah. Mahmoud Saleh here says, God bless you, Apostate and David Wood. Thanks to you and Christian Prince, I left Islam. That's cool.
That's very, very nice. I'm happy to hear that.
Hey, so speaking of converts, because this ties in as well, because, you know, earlier, Milahan, Philosopher's Corner, I think it was her, because I watched a couple of the videos, but I think it was her pointing out, like I said, that Christians, when Andrew Tate was running around saying, I'm a Christian, now I'm the Romanian Orthodox Church or whatever he was saying, I didn't ever see a Christian go, you see, we have our champion, blah, 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 blah. But similar with Kanye. Kanye a few years ago said he had converted to Christianity and put out a gospel album. And I mean, there may have been Christians somewhere who are taking this as, you see, this is because of the power of the gospel or something like that. But pretty much every Christian I knew was kind of like, happy for him. Hope things turn out well. But before we run around propping this dude up, we really need to watch him for a few years, because this is a guy with mental health issues, right? Who really says some crazy stuff now and again. So it was never our new champion. But with if Kanye were to convert to Islam right now, it would not matter. He could say, because I hate Israel or something like that, and they would prop him up and parade him around the world. And it's a consequence of this avalanche of apostasy that they're all like in panic. They're in like this constant perpetual panic mode about people leaving Islam. So what are we going to do? And it's like people who are drowning who will just cling to anything. You'll just grab onto anything trying to keep you afloat because you're panicking, and you like seeing an entire culture doing that.
Look at this, man. I didn't realize I still have my tab of Andrew Tate open here. Oh my God. Where is that? Here. Put this here on the screen. Sorry for the language here. But
you're an atheist, we'll let you slide. You don't know any better.
Andrew Tate shows us what he loves so much about Islam and says, imagine having less than 10 children because you're a pussy bitch who doesn't have 4 wives. Genetic failures.
Hey, can you scroll down to that comment? I've been seeing this Samira Khan.
Tate is absolutely right. Islamic polygamy is based, and I will debate anyone who disagrees.
This is the new example for education is for cowards. You're a loser if you don't have 4 wives.
Oh,
this is the new example that Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawa have given to the world. Do you want to be real men? You guys want to be real men? Go with the top G.
You're such a genetic failure because you don't have 4 wives and 10 children. And
what's hilarious? So notice that had 68,000 likes. There are Muslims who will object, but there are also Muslims who I don't. It looks like he's praising Islam somehow. Let's yeah, we love that. What a great guy.
Yeah, we don't. Most of us don't have 4 wives and 10 children, but hey, at least he's saying something good here. Although he is calling us all genetic failures, and
anyone who reads the Quran, you've got to love this guy, right? I could not have seen this. Like when I saw like Sheikh Uthman becoming popular and Muhammad Hijab becoming popular and Ali Dawah becoming popular, I'm like, oh, this is great. These guys are going to do so much damage 5 to 10 years down the road. But Andrew Tate just came out of nowhere. I'm like, this dude, I mean, if he actually stays with Islam and keeps doing this, this guy will cause more division and do more damage to the Ummah than all the rest of these guys combined. I didn't even like see it coming, man.
He just sounds like one of those online trolls who say outrageous things just to cause a reaction, but he's a grown man this is his career right now at this point after he built all his career based on fighting and prostitution and all of that. He became a public figure who speaks very well of being a tough Muslim guy who marries 4 wives and has 10 children, because otherwise you are a weak pussy bitch and a genetic failure. Fantastic, man. I didn't even know what to say. Couldn't hope for a better representation of Islam in the 21st century. So other than that, let me see. We have some super chats here that I want to. Oh, I'm supposed to have another guest here. Let me invite my other guest here. Nuriyah Khan, Holy Humanist, is her channel. She was supposed to join this stream for a conversation too. I hope she's around so she can do that. She has a lot of interesting stuff to say. She recently joined. We recently had a debate, a 2-on-2 against the guy Perfect Dawa and some other Muslim guy, and she totally killed it.
Didn't she tell you it was extremely late for her? Why didn't you have her on earlier?
I don't know, because I'm dumb and I forgot.
It's pretty horrible. You see him? He's like Andrew Tate. He's like Andrew Tate here. So make the woman wait.
Yeah, basically,
Wrong.
literally. I'm literally Andrew Tate. Yeah, I hope I'm not late. Anyway, but meanwhile, we got super chats here. Zakros Özkan said, "For your rising from Twitter hell, welcome back, my fellow Islamophobe." Oh yes, I have been unsuspended from Twitter after a half-year ban by Twitter's trust and safety team. The great Elon Musk, peace be upon him, actually restored a lot of banned accounts, and mine was one of those. So Elon Musk, peace be upon him, restored my account, among others, and I am very, very grateful to Elon Musk, peace be upon him, for that. Yeah.
Hey, I just had this awesome idea. Elon, like everyone's flipping out on Elon because he's freeing up people like you, but also people like Andrew Tate and things like that. But Elon should just claim to convert to Islam, and then you can't criticize him anymore. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be funny? Because you automatically go to the top of the hierarchy. You can't criticize him. If I were Elon, this would be hilarious. I'm going to tweet this out. Elon should pretend to convert to Islam, and then anyone who criticizes him just call him an Islamophobe.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
And people can say, finally, we have a Muslim CEO of one of the greatest companies, a social media company. And how dare you say anything about him? Are you a bigot?
And they're racist because he'd be an African American.
Yeah. He's the first
convert to Islam.
He's the first black guy and the first Muslim guy who's actually the the CEO of one of the greatest companies in America. So that is huge, man. Yeah. People said Laura Loomer is also back. That's funny. That's very interesting. I was pointing out earlier how me being unsuspended by Elon Musk is actually a very big act from Elon Musk against white supremacy and racism, because prior to this, it was white people at Twitter, in charge of Twitter, deciding what people of color like me,
AP, person of color.
may or may not say. And during Twitter's progressive rule, only white people were lucky enough to be allowed to criticize their own cultures. People
Mhm.
like me, people of color, colored people like myself, were not allowed to criticize their own cultures.
Because they're
And
racist.
that was obviously the progressive white supremacist racism. But Elon Musk came along and gladly provided us with equality, where now also people like me who are not white can also criticize their own cultures and religious beliefs. And for that, I think this is an amazing step toward equality
Yeah,
and progress.
he
Yeah,
cleared out the racist. It's good.
that's fantastic. It's amazing. I think people miss that, and they should really see the value in
You should
this.
be tweeting that all the time.
I already did once, and
Oh,
I will do that again. I will tweet it every day, literally every day. I will become a bully about it, like Andrew Tate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Every day I want to see how the white supremacist of Twitter 1.0 were denying access to person of color, apostate prophet.
Yeah.
But then Elon came and promoted equality,
Yeah. Yeah.
racial equality.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you all know I'm a person of color, so yeah. I find that term so offensive, man. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't even understand why people use that term. Why people use it to play a race card. Why people use it to
You were
make
doing
fun about
fine until you
themselves.
started flipping out on stuff, man. You were doing fine, everything was good, and then you started going on your rant.
It's like, isn't it kind of strange to refer yourself as a person of I feel like it should be offensive. I should be offended by that when people refer to me, or if I refer to myself as a person of color. Like, isn't that weird? White people and people of color, people who are colored people.
Yeah.
Uh,
Why's
we're not
everything got to be
special.
binary?
Yeah,
I
and
thought we we're supposed to be
I'm a
non-binary.
I'm a lesser person who is unfortunate and who just needs a helping hand from the white people. I'm a person of color. That's why white people should take a step back and let me do lots of things, because then everything will be better. This is just very ridiculous, but whatever. Okay. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, super chats. That's where I am. Welcome back, AP, said Omo Sango. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Zoe Solanki, I'm sorry. Zoe Solanki said, I've missed my favorite bromance on the internet. I don't know who you're talking about.
Talking about you and Andrew Tate.
Yeah, probably. Human Kirk said, welcome back, AP. Happy to see you live finally, or happy to see you live finally. Yeah, both I appreciate. Kasim in jail 1 said, I missed this kind of talks. God bless David and Apostate Prophet. Thank you so much. I appreciate it very, very much. Sweet potato pie. Let me check, by the way, is oh boy. Nuriyah said, give me 25 minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I have time. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
She's like, I'll just sleep now, and then you guys go on until I wake up.
Yeah. That's all right with me. Sweet potato pie said, Kanye West isn't anti-Semitic. Yes, he is. Sorry. Clearly he is. If you say the Holocaust didn't happen and they deserve it and there is a plan and they're going to come for you and me, but I don't hate Jews, then that's not an excuse.
Yeah, and by the way, that was the problem, because I had live streams on this with Vocab and John McRae, where we were talking about some of Kanye's stuff. But that was the problem, where people who were trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. The only benefit of the doubt you can give him is he's mental right now, and he's not himself. He's not thinking normally. That is the best you can do. The people who are trying to defend what he was saying by saying, oh, he's just saying what Christians say, like we can love everyone. That is not what he was saying. When he was saying everyone brings something to the table, especially Hitler. There, you're not just saying, oh, he's the worst person, he's one of the worst people ever, but he's still a human being or something like that. No, it's he's elevating him, right? It's here. Everyone has something, but especially Hitler. Now he's like in an exalted category. But at the same time, if that's what he was saying, if he had just been saying, "Hey, we have to see the good in everybody," that makes no sense with praising Nazis and then valuing slaughtering Jews, because you should be loving the Jews too, right? You should not want them slaughtered, and someone who slaughters them should be bad, right? So anyway, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. This is funny. A Black Angel pointed out Elon's Twitter even agreed that Allah should F himself. I posted this because
I saw that was one you got banned for, right?
No, that was different. This was somebody tweeted something like, "May Allah destroy the feminists," and then it was a whole thread which was not about feminists, but it was basically about how women are supposed to be inferior beings and men are supposed to like discipline them and stuff like that. It was like a whole crazy Islamist thread, and I then just retweeted that with the comment, "May Allah go F himself." And that's all. And then, of course, people reported it. And then Twitter sent me an email saying that they received a complaint from Germany to withhold this because
Germany.
it may violate the laws and may violate the Twitter rules. But we have not found that this violates the Twitter rules. And then it just says in the middle of the email, "May Allah go F himself." And I just...
Yeah, that's what I saw.
It's so hilarious. I don't know.
It is, isn't it weird? Them like, I mean, because I told people I've gotten tons of bans over the years, and the vast majority were from Pakistan. But number two, that's funny. Number two is Germany. Germany was number two as far as like banning content. It's like how insane have you guys gone? Where
Germany has a problem in... I heard that same thing all the time when I grew up in Germany and when I went to school. They mean well, but it's really going too far at some point. They have this whole idea of, especially we of all people have to be, responsible and make sure that we don't tolerate and allow any kind of, hate or intolerance because of the Second World War. And then they just take that whole thing to big extremes, which are a little bit unhealthy.
And then, whereas they should be thinking, it should be built into them, hey, wait a minute, we had the image of the guys who burned books during World War II and before. We're the guys who are burning the books to try to shut down anyone who thinks differently from what we say. Therefore, maybe we shouldn't be known today as the people running around banning what people say.
And by the way, also, if you think banning people for their opinions and their words is going to be helpful, then why don't you just sit down and take another look at the history of the rise of the Nazis and see if it really helps to censor people and throw them in jail or to charge them or whatever it is. I mean, that's what the Nazis went through. That's what Hitler went through censorship and punishment for the ideas that they had and their intent to radically change society. And it only turned them into heroes and caused basically the rise of the Nazi regime, or it helped cause it at least. This whole suppression of ideas doesn't work. It's idiotic. That is a fascist idea. But yeah, more super chats here. What did I miss? D. Bodro said, "AB, what did you think about the failed coup in Germany? I had no idea they had the largest QAnon group outside the US. Crazy. Failed coup in Germany? Am I completely out of touch with the world and the news? I don't know.
I saw coup trending, like, was it today or yesterday or something like that? I don't know.
Oh, I don't even know anything about it. It's funny. As a former German, I have no idea about it. The failed coup plotters yearning for the German Reich. Really? Like neo-Nazis? I don't know. I'm not aware of it. I have no idea at all. Unfortunately, I can't say anything about this.
I just looked up coup. A bunch of stuff from Peru is coming up. So yeah, what's going on with Germany?
Yeah. No, apparently there was a group of neo-Nazis or nationalists plotting something, but I don't know exactly what it is about. No idea. No idea. No idea. Not neo-Nazis. Rechtsextreme, right-wing extremists. I don't know. I have no idea. I would need to look into it. But yeah, I have no idea. But thanks for telling me. I had no clue. Copy said he is manic who is easily exploited. Yes,
True.
definitely. There was even a
True.
video of him saying, I was diagnosed with bipolar, but I'm not bipolar. I'm actually autistic. Because have you ever seen an autistic person hate somebody? No, I don't hate people. I'm autistic. And and I just thought with the basic understanding and education of psychology that I had, I thought, dude, what in the world is this guy talking about? That's just insane. I don't know.
But by the way, for people who, lots of people just aren't familiar with bipolar. One of my brothers is bipolar, and he will actually, like, in his manic phase, he thinks like we're conspiring to kill him. Like everyone around him is conspiring to kill him, and he actually has to be institutionalized until he comes out of that manic phase, because he's like, he's calling the cops and stuff. Everyone's trying to kill me. Everyone's trying to kill me. Stuff like that. But if you really want, watch Charlie Sheen when he was in a manic phase, right? When he's I got tiger blood. And notice the similarities to, but Charlie Sheen wasn't having like the psychotic break, but you get this like burst of energy. You feel indestructible. It doesn't matter to you if you melt down your entire career because you're indestructible. Mm-hmm. And you start babbling about tiger blood. Notice that he starts babbling about tiger blood. What's Kanye say? Dragon blood and stuff like that. They're all, it's a mental problem, guys.
Yeah. The thing is, many people who themselves have bipolar disorder don't experience the kind of psychosis or mania that you see in some cases, like with Kanye West, because bipolar disorder has different types and severities, where some people actually experience bipolar psychosis, which is a very severe mania that turns into an actual psychotic break, and you lose touch with reality, while other people who have bipolar disorder just experience the whole severe ups and downs and depressed and super happy, while not ever experiencing such a severe form of mania or psychosis. So yeah, but anyway, it's a very interesting topic on its own. Zagros Özkan said, AP, if you need a good laugh, Nuriyah was recently on Harris Sultan's channel. It was hilarious. You should see it. I will check it out. I didn't want to watch anything from anybody about Islam and related stuff in recent times, but I need to get back and look at a bunch of stuff that I missed. So
I'm laughing because I just remembered when Charlie Sheen was being interviewed, and she said, the interviewer said, are you bipolar? Just because the way he was acting, which he confirmed it, but late and elsewhere. But she said, are you bipolar? And he goes, I'm by winning. I go this way, I win. I go that way, I win. Win-win.
Yeah,
that's awesome stuff.
Positive perspective. Yeah. Somebody said, what is the word cannibal in Turkish? Why is this being asked here? What is the word for cannibal in Turkish? The word for cannibal in Turkish is yam yam, which
that's a better word.
I never thought about how funny that actually sounds.
That's better.
Yeah. Well, do you know the word? Is that why you're asking me? Is it because it's funny? I don't know. But yeah, the word is actually yum yum. That's very dumb.
What about in German?
Kannibal. Saying. Just because English people stole German from Germans, English from Germans.
It's weird how German supremacy always comes through from people who've been there.
Of course. You are all inferior. I was going to go on with that joke, but I should not. Wait a minute. Dragon Ball Z said, did Tate claim that chestnuts are lazy, or that he invented the question mark? Is that a reference to something that I don't understand?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
Maybe he did. I don't know. Thank you. Poop Zombie said, Merry Christmas. Thank you, Poop Zombie. I appreciate it very much. I hope you also have a merry, happy Christmas and celebrate it with family and friends. Thank you so much, Poop Zombie, for that super chat. Raller said, what attitudes should Christians have toward homosexuality and homophobia, according to D. Wood? Wishing you both a Merry Christmas. This reminds me that there was actually such a question which was for you, and that I asked you when we were driving together, and you actually gave a very long but extensive, comprehensive response to that, which I've kind of liked. And I never edited and published those videos, which I still need to do that. But yeah, go ahead if you want to.
Because you're lazy bum.
Yeah, exactly. But do you want to give an answer now or what? Just be careful what you say. I would have to kick you off the live stream.
Well, that's why, I mean, happy to talk about it, but that's why I'm reluctant, because it looks like they're I don't know, I'm sure you've noticed, but anytime AP and D Wood, or anytime Christian and atheist or anyone's together, it's like someone comes in with the, let's get a question to split them up, right?
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
So it's mainly, is this a sincere question? You've just been wondering it all this time, and you just decided to bring it up like right in here because you want me to you talk about Christian perspective on this, and then AP to be enraged and then go on this. So like, is it that's the question for me, because if it's a sincere question, I'm happy to answer. If it's not a sincere question, you're just trolling to try and like get us off on a tangent to divide us up, then I don't want to answer, right? Like, I don't want to give you, because everyone wants to do that, right?
Yeah. So you don't want to answer until it is established that this is a genuine question and not a troll.
Yeah, let him put in another super chat and explain that he's been wondering this for a long time and has no idea what a Christian take would look like, and there's nowhere else to go on the internet to where people talk about that, and this is the only place. AP's come back right here. David Wood, AP, other guests coming on. This is the only time to bring it up, and so that's why he's sincerely bringing it up right now.
I have no issue at all with you expressing your views or the Christian views. I mean, people know me, people know you. We are totally fine with those disagreements. I will give my perspective. You will give your perspective. That's entirely okay. But if you think that we should just keep it out of
no. Again, if he's sincere, and this was just the only way to, this is the only place to ask it. We can talk about it, but
it's funny. Somebody,
I've noticed that like every live stream we do, there are people who let me get the question in here to try and get these guys arguing.
Yeah. There was somebody who asked me such a question about why do you associate with David Wood, who has terrible opinions about this and this. I said, because I want to. That's what I said.
Yeah, and no, I get those all the time as well. And my view is, guys, whatever mentality the rest of the population has absorbed at some point, where if two people are going to get along, they have to agree on everything. I never got that. I've never been part of that. If someone's a total jerk and I can't get along with them, then someone's a total jerk I can't get along with. But guess what? That's true of a Christian. There are Christians I can't get along with because they're jerks, or because I'm a jerk. I don't know, but there are Christians I don't get along with. There are other people who are atheists, who are Muslims, all kinds of things that they're not annoying jerks, and so I can get along with them. And so I have no problem. Hey, we may disagree on this, and that, but we agree on these things, so it's totally cool to be clear on what we agree about. And keep in mind, I have no problem doing it with a Muslim. If I were talking to a Muslim, I have no problem saying the things we agree on, that we agree that there's, a creator of the universe and things like that. So I have no problem with that kind of thing. But yes, there is this, and the problem here is there is this attitude of people, you can't get along and have discussions and so on, friendly discussions, friendly talks, do live streams with people who disagree with you on certain big questions. And that's one thing for you to have that, but then to impose that on us and say, you can't talk to him, AP, or you can't get along with him, David, but then not only to do that, but then to try and everywhere we go and we're like talking about something to try and drive a wedge in there. It's just, I don't know, just annoying. Like,
Yeah.
don't you have something better to do in your life?
Yeah. Could do better things. Better things. There are more important things in this world. For example, Trump digital trading cards.
What's funny is I almost wanted to like buy some to give them to someone to be funny, but then I was like, they sold out instantly, and I was like, I wonder how many people are just doing it as a joke. Like, oh, I have to do this and send this to my aunt. That's so funny, right?
I don't know. It's
like him as like a superhero. And
yeah,
it's like awesome stuff.
And it was like he said, "I'm going to make a major announcement," and then that's the major announcement of him.
Yeah. When like a presidential campaign is coming up and stuff like that, I've got the major announcement here. We're gonna have a major announcement, and everyone tunes in. Just so you know, we've got the greatest trading cards. You can trade them with your friends.
That's a very good impression, right?
But like, I mean, like, is he that? Like, is he just saying it because he needs some extra cash and he's running low on cash because of everything? Or does he actually think it's going to be like kids here? Like, oh, you have the superhero one. Oh, well, I have the one where he's on the moon. Oh, I'll trade you that one.
Right. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was so bad that even Biden managed to successfully troll him over that and to make fun of it. Biden
did Biden troll him over that?
Hilarious. Biden made a tweet that said, "I also have a major announcement this year, Texas, and this and that," and just basically listed some accomplishments. And I mean, that was really a terrible move.
Hey, we should do that one day. Make AP and David with trading cards.
I was thinking about it. I was gonna make a major announcement too.
Hey, everyone remind us before next Christmas. We have to have those ready for next Christmas.
Yeah. Bro, even Ben Shapiro made fun of Trump on this.
He did. I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Shapiro can, but I'm saying even Joe Biden was able to actually successfully troll him over that. And that is I mean, how low can you go? You know?
and Ben was actually pointing out what we just talked about. Like, if you just said, "Hey guys, you know, we were kind of bored, we decided to make some trading cards," that would be one thing. But you know, to be a former president of the United States and then to announce this major announcement, and then it's trading cards. That's kind of. I mean, it's kind of funny.
That's just what the world needs right now. It's what the economy needs, and I think you're doing.
How did I not get a set of those, man?
Yeah, terrible. Christian Gun Nut 2001 said, David Wood and AP needs to David Wood and AP need to be in their own PragerU video. Yeah, totally. I think so too. Stefan Milevich said, Andrew Tate is so based, he joins the religion that tried to exterminate his ancestors. What an absolute patriotic chat. Also, welcome back, bro. Thank you. Where is he from originally?
I don't know. I mean, I know he's half black, half white, but I don't know like where that goes back to.
I have no idea. I don't even want to look it up.
No, his dad had mental health issues, but his dad is a genius and a chess master.
Oh.
And sort of raised Tate playing chess. And that's I kind of wonder about the is that playing a role? Because, you know, if you're playing chess, you're thinking multiple moves ahead, and you're also trying to control where your opponent is moving. You're trying to control that. So I'm always wondering, like, how deep it's clear that some of what this guy is saying, he's saying it to get a reaction. It's just how much of it, because notice this could all be one big reaction, right? It could be, you know, Christians are so soft nowadays. I'm going to enrage them by converting to Islam to get them to become tougher and things like that. It's like
England and Romania. Oh, really? Yeah. I think I know that he moved to Romania. And what's funny is even among his reasons of moving to Romania was that Romania has very lax sexual assault and sexual harassment laws, and they don't care very much about that.
he's still being investigated for like
Yeah.
human trafficking charges. And that's why you
Very,
got to wonder,
very
like, wait,
Islamic.
I
Yeah.
convert to Islam right now when there's all these charges, because even in Romania I could get in trouble. And so, hey guys, if you see me moving to Dubai, he's already tried to in his messages and so on, saying, first they tried to cancel me. The next thing they're going to do is try to hem me up with false charges because the Matrix is after me. And it's funny. It's funny that someone like who posts all this stuff about beating women and stuff like that, until someone actually bans him. Like he claims that it's because there are all these like overlords of the world who are like, this is the guy who's going to destroy us if we let him, so we have to crack down on him. It's like, wait a minute. There are two possible explanations here. You're saying a bunch of misogynistic, messed up stuff, and praising people who slaughter other people, and all this anti-LGBTQ stuff. You're saying all this stuff, and you get banned from social media platforms. So it's either because all these social media platforms have rules against that stuff and they ban people for saying it, or there's all these people who are sitting in a room in a castle somewhere plotting on how to take down the top G, because he's going to teach teenagers to be strong and get off the video games and stuff. And anyway, he rolls with that.
House of Hikmah said, I have Mohammed Hijab trading cards.
Oh, imagine that. We could have Dawa trading cards with like Ali Dawa eating grapes and Mohammed Hijab, like after he stripped his shirt off and he's, flexing on everybody.
I just forgot about the whole Ali Dawa grapes thing, and now you're reminding me of it again. Wow.
Sheikh Uthman with his big blood spatters from ketchup bottle.
Yeah, from ketchup bottle. Yeah.
Oh, we did talk about Sheikh Uthman.
Oh yeah, what happened there? What's the deal?
Well, it's similar, and everyone can go back because we discussed this, but we were, there are people who would just instantly, this is fake. We weren't like that. We were, we're taking a close look at the picture. I was pointing out that it looks like fake blood to me. I've dealt with lots of real blood, and I've dealt with lots of fake blood. It looked really fake, and there were blood spatters, which isn't what you get from something soaking out of cloth. That's something you get from squirting something onto that. So, but with that said, we didn't have any objection to the idea that he got into an altercation and he got stabbed and so on. We're just saying that he was basically hamming it up. That's what it looked like, but that we're gonna have to look further. But then, of course, you've seen over time that it came out that he said he gave the police report, they had the weapon, and then elsewhere he was announcing to mosques and so on, and he's been arrested and he's in jail now, alhamdulillah, and everyone's praising him and so on. And of course, people did a little investigating and found that there was no police report filed. These guys have no clue what he's talking about. And then he was saying this guy was in jail. Then people contacted the prosecutors, and they're saying we have no clue what this guy's talking about. There's no record of any of this happening. So how's this guy sitting in jail after being charged, investigation? He's gone to court, and no one has any record of this. And so some of the possible explanations is, he reported it somewhere else in some other place. And it's like, why it was in San Diego? I mean, people actually went to the place where it was. Why would he go somewhere else? It doesn't make any sense. None of this is making any sense.
He reported in Pakistan or something?
Yeah. So, anyway, people have stepped it up, and there was some journalist who went in during the Q&A when, Sheikh Uthman was speaking somewhere, and asked him about that. It's like, hey, can we get the name? Can we get some more details on this? And he's like, you're a liar. You see, they accuse me of lying when they're the liars. You can watch this funny video. They're the ones who are lying. And then like they make the guy leave. They kick the guy out, and they're shouting Allahu Akbar and stuff. It's like, but I mean, just proving our point. It's like, honesty is just not a virtue. It's not. I mean, they will claim that it is, but it's not. I mean, how many interactions have you had with Ali Dawa and Mohammed Hijab where they were trying to deceive you? They had to be deceived. They had to do something to deceive you and get over on you. And it's just like,
they have a very clear they are very clearly liars. They clearly lie about things many, many times. They are happy to lie about stuff, to twist things in order to make themselves look strong or make Islam look strong. But honestly, I think they care more about their own ego than they care about Islam. But Sheikh Uthman, I don't know if I still have my doubts there, and I still feel like I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and still think there is something really happened and this is all not made up. But what you're telling me here, with all the evidence that I have seen so far, just looks very shady, and he shouldn't have a problem with showing the public all the actual evidence and clarifying this matter.
Yeah, and one of the situations where this was I don't know, a month ago or something like that, maybe earlier, I don't know, but someone was asking him about it and asking, "Hey, can we get the name? Can we get this? No one's got any record of this." And he's saying, but we're making a documentary about the life of Sheikh Uthman, and you're gonna see. And it's like, it's very easy to give a name. Like let me put it this way, Pete. Suppose because I'm like you, is there something I'm missing here that actually explains all of this and that makes sense of all of this? Is there something that, that's what we were missing? Because if he's actually telling the truth, and there is a guy sitting in jail for stabbing him somehow without police or prosecutors being aware of it, if there's some explanation, why would you not want to tell us to vindicate yourself? The only explanation I could see is just he knows we if there were a person, he would know we would contact him and ask what really happened, and the guy might give a completely different story from the one Sheikh Uthman's giving. So it's like it seems like total nonsense. But it's a perfect example because you remember a while back, Sheikh Uthman originally tweeted that non-Muslims have to be subjugated and their women and children enslaved or something like that. Tweeted that, and then he was on a live stream and people were asked him about it. And he's like, "Oh yes, well, people are taking what I said out of context. When I said that, we're in a contest, and he's saying that I'm not this and I'm not that, and that was taken out of context and so on." But then everyone started using it, started circulating that. Look at what Sheikh Uthman said, and then he came out and said, "No, I never tweeted that. That was an intern. That was an intern who works for me who did that. And once I found out what that intern had said, then we told him he can't handle our social media anymore." And notice that somehow that was fine with Muslims. The rest of us are going, "You said that you said it. One, it was you. In the tweet, you're clearly claiming that's you because you're saying, watch your lectures on this stuff."
Yeah.
Two, you said that you said it. Now you're saying that you didn't, that wasn't you. It was an intern. And so I made a video pointing out, you admitted it like 3 or 4 times in that thing that was you. And apparently what I've heard was his response to people who bring it up was, I said it, but I never said I tweeted it. Ha ha. And it's like, notice what they're doing. The message that his followers are sending him, they're basically programming him to be a liar, because if you're being programmed, hey, I can say anything I want, I can come back and change my story, I can say up is down, down is up, they'll praise me no matter what I do. You're basically convincing this guy that he can get away with anything. Murder, it doesn't matter, fake hate crimes, he can get away with anything, and you'll believe whatever he said, just mindlessly, unquestioningly praising Allah, even if he's lying. And guess what you get if you're dealing with someone like that, and that's how you've programmed him? You get fake hate crimes. Oh, look at the ketchup on my shirt.
Yeah.
I've been stabbed.
Yeah, just like the famous French actor Jussi Smollett.
By the way, do you remember when you did a mocking fake note? Because there was that thing. By the way, notice the escalation. First, it was while we're talking one day, he gets this note. His followers bring him a note saying, Sheikh Uthman, you will stop your powerful dawah ways. You'll stop this. And then you mocked it and then said, I got this note. You remember that?
Yeah.
You posted it. You said, everyone, I got this note. Apostate prophet, your arguments are too powerful. You'll stop or we'll kill you, to make fun of it. But I actually got messages from people saying, David, tell AP to be careful. He's being threatened. It's like, how do you not notice?
Oh boy. That was funny. I forgot about that. But yeah, I actually made a parody video in response of somebody giving me such a message.
But isn't it like these are the champions of Dawa? These are their guys. The guy eating grapes, the guy running around pulling his shirt up. Oh, I'm so strong. The Quran says you're gonna have sex with a 5-year-old. Ah! And then the ketchup guy, they call him Sheikh Ibn Footnote because Sheikh Ibn Footnote, Sheikh Ibn Ketchup, and then on top of it, the cherry on top of the banana split, Andrew Tate. This is wow. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Just wow, man. Where's that video? I wanted to play that. Never mind, forget about it. Yeah, so that happened. And no offense, dear Honorable Sheikh Uthman, I think you are a fantastic scholar and a very honest individual and proselytizer in the name of Islam, a very big mujahid and somebody who really does a lot for the sake of Allah and himself. But yeah, I mean, things are a little bit questionable here, right? So let's come to the next super chat. Oh, wait a minute. We have a guest here. Wait a minute. My screen. Here. Hello.
Hello. Hi, AP and David Wood. Hi, guys.
Hi, how's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. First of all, I feel like I'm missing out on the festive cheer because I'm missing my Santa hat.
Yeah, where's your Santa hat?
I didn't get the memo, AP.
I thought it was implied.
There was not even like a Christmas tree scent or like a jingle. Otherwise, I definitely would have. Now I feel
you're
really bad.
supposed to think about this before I say it.
But in your defense, I didn't either. Just when we logged on, he had that on, so my wife ran and grabbed me one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least you had one to hand, David. I'm embarrassed to say I don't have one yet, and I also don't have an advent calendar, which is a big thing here in the UK. So I'm very ashamed. But I have to say,
terrible.
This is a little AP. I'm so grateful you invited me to this because David Wood, I'm just a little bit of a fangirl moment. There was a point in time when I realized Islam was absolutely untrue and not the word of God. After kind of Googling is Islam the truth, and then stumbling across, I think it was the Masked Arab and Sharif Gabber. And when I convinced myself by like going back to the Quran myself, reading it, going into the Hadith, sunnah.com was a gold mine. But then a year and a half, I shit you not, I think I hibernated. I would eat, sleep, and repeat, wake up to yours and AP's videos nonstop for about a good year and a half. And I would just be like, wow, this is so much darker than I thought. And David, your video about Ali and how mistaken he was literally prompted my very first YouTube video. So my metaphorical...
Oh, which one was that?
You know when you talked about Ali and how he actually was named after...
Muhammad Ali.
A slave. Yeah, Muhammad
Ali.
Ali.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about Ali Dawa, but yeah. Oh yeah,
no. I would not watch any of that nonsense.
That's probably my favorite video I ever made because it was just it started off, I was just watching a clip of Muhammad Ali because I mean I like Muhammad Ali, definitely one of the greatest boxers of all time, best heavyweight of all time. But I was watching a clip by him, and he was just saying he didn't like the name Cassius Clay because it's it's a slave name, and therefore I'm changing my name to Muhammad Ali. And I was like, that's so stupid, right? And so I was just going to make the entire point of the video was going to be like Muhammad and Ali both bought, owned, sold, and traded black African slaves. So how is that the name you choose instead of finding some other name or something like that? And then it was like, and then I was just, where did his name come from? Because Cassius is a Roman name. There's not a lot of Cassius. Yeah. And then I saw, so anyway, so I was looking it up. I looked up Cassius Clay, and then it turns out that, wait, you were named after a Kentucky abolitionist. Muhammad Ali was from Kentucky. It's like your grandfather named your dad after a Kentucky abolitionist to honor him for just being a ruthless critic of slavery who was violently attacked numerous times throughout his life. But then it was like, how have I never heard that before? I mean, this is the guy who convinced Abraham Lincoln to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. I've never heard of him. No one's ever heard of him. And it's like, that's why I liked it. And I was like, this is, I mean, I'm finding out something new. It's just shocking that like some guy who should be in every history book is not, to the point where even a guy who's named after him has no clue who he is. So
exactly, David, that's why I think this was probably one of the first, because I mean, look, I grew up like fangirling Muhammad Ali anyway, because my dad was such a fan and he really got us into, you know, his boxing from an early age. So we had watched kind of the movies and stuff, but I had never on YouTube come across something like that which harked back to his roots. But then the meaning of, as you said, Cassius Clay, we barely see him in history books, but then the knock-on effect that had, because obviously Muhammad Ali was part of the Nation of Islam and all of that jazz, and for them to try and go back to what was the real Islam mixed with, you know, the social movement at the time for civil rights, but for him to actually take on the name of the very people that enslaved his ancestors. Yeah, I mean, it's wild to me that people don't understand that. Whenever I converse with Black Muslims, I really try and push like and see if they have any understanding of even what was the Arab slave trade, which preceded the transatlantic slave trade, right? Because it's like, even as Bob Marley says, if a lot of them knew their history, you know, they'd know where they come from. And it wasn't necessarily that you were first enslaved through the transatlantic slave trade. So yeah, that video for me was extremely poignant. And I think it's one of a kind on YouTube. So again, my metaphorical Santa hat off to you.
And by the way, I mean, that's one I wanted to remake, because I didn't actually include how brutal that dude was. I mean, I didn't include all the details. Like I pointed out in the video that you know, all these people were threatening to come, because he had a newspaper called True American, an abolitionist newspaper, and they were threatening him. And I pointed out how he bought 2 cannons and pointed them at the door, and for all the people who said they were going to come in there and kill these guys and slaughter everyone, he pointed cannons at the door and was just going to blow everyone away as soon as they did that. But I didn't point out, he actually he loaded the entire building under the floorboards with gunpowder and had a charge at the desk. And he told everyone in there, if they get past the cannons, blow us all up, make sure you take them with you. So it's like, this guy's like, I mean, keep in mind, it wasn't that would have been self-defense, because they're coming at you and they're getting past your cannons. But the idea is like, how has no one ever heard of this guy? I mean, no one. It's wild stuff.
Wild, yeah.
Interesting stuff. But I mean, that's what's cool, because there's so much of this stuff out there, and it's anyway, it's cool to be able. It's cool that we have the opportunity to share stuff like that now. Because as you're just pointing out, back when this was spreading, talking in the 60s and stuff, no one had access to any of this. No one had Sahih al-Bukhari or Sahih Muslim or any of this. You had a couple bad translations of the Quran, but you didn't have all this stuff. And so that allowed Muslim preachers to come in there, say anything they wanted to anyone, to any group, convert any group to Islam. And it was all lies. And it's just, we're the cool generation that gets to expose all those lies that were used to prop it up for so long.
Yeah, 100%. And I know AP would probably want to move on, but just on that point, you're so right. Because even for me, for example, like a lot of my upbringing, the Quran was like this mystical book at the highest shelf of the bookshelf, right? Like wrapped in all its might and cloth and everything. And you kind of, again, you can't go near it when you're menstruating and all that stuff. It's like a whole ritual to go near it. Like, why am I going to bother? Then it's in a language I don't understand. But now, like, coming back and being like, wait, what does the Quran say? Like, type it in Google and I get any translation that I could have. I mean, there's no way, I was going to say no way in hell, for lack of a better word, there's no way in hell that I could have become an ex-Muslim if it was not for the internet. No way.
That's fantastic.
Cool times.
Cool times. Well, no, fantastic. Great. Thank you for joining, Nuriyah. It's good that you could make it. I specifically wanted to get you in here because the last thing that I did before I kind of took an unplanned break was to have a debate on Modern Day Debate where Nuriyah Khan and I went against Perfect Dawa and some other Muslim guy who, as it turns out, later didn't want to be associated with Perfect Dawa's kind of Islam anymore because it turned out he really didn't like that whole reformist idea. Anyway, that debate was very good on Nuriyah's part. She actually had she totally killed it. I told her that. Everybody
Oh.
told her that. It was
Hold on, that's
it was a very
impossible.
good
That's
opening.
impossible because of the deficiency of a woman's mind.
That's true.
It is true. It is
Hopefully I
true.
proved that wrong,
But
if
she did some
anything.
extra work. For a woman, she did very well. That's what maybe I would say
That's
from
more
an
Muslim like you, AP. Thank you.
No, just kidding. She did very well. It was very, very hard hitting, and they were kind of, I don't know, they were shocked actually, and they couldn't respond. It was a very good approach, and I thought, wow. I mean, I have these debates with these people, and I have become so impatient, and I got so sick of these people that I can't bear it anymore, and I just start basically responding with anger and with just shut up, man, to these people. But it was very good to see that you came out in your first debate and had a very strong argument and a very strong approach against those people, and I thought that's fantastic. Your channel. When I am gone, when the biggest ex-Muslim channel and the
Ooh.
hero of our society, just kidding.
Ooh.
So when
No, don't say that. You're not
no,
going anywhere.
when I'm more inactive, like your channel would have great resources for that. So tell people where they can find you and what your channel name is, where they can follow you.
Thank you. Just also to piggyback off what AP was saying, listen, from how long AP has been in this game now, and the fact that, like, again, where I'm coming from, I'm literally a year in. I stand on the shoulder of these two giants, if you can see them above my green screen, these two giants, like these kind of YouTube channels. So it is only natural, like in a debate, like I would have lost my cool if I was AP. Anyone would, okay? You push my buttons enough, it's gonna happen. And Perfect I had come across him before. So AP, no loss in any of that. Like there was any human being would have been riled up. But yeah, I try, and actually I was again listening to you two in my period of hibernation and really understanding Islam for what it was. I tried to take on the approach that, but none of you are insanely like confrontational or throwing ad hominems out there. AP, that's definitely not your style. Like I've known you for way longer than that. So coming at it from a very like intellectual, just a position of this is what I have to say and make of it what you will, but I'm presenting you with evidence. So that's kind of, I guess, where I've just tried to get the foundations of my channel going. So you can find me on Holy Feminist on YouTube and at Nuriyah K on Twitter. And as AP was saying, like I do try and make videos. Mine is obviously because Islam is like the cancer that is plaguing the planet, but especially what it does to women, like the way that it treats women as second-class citizens, the way it tries to erase women from society, the way that women and children are the first to be affected, and that's what we see with Islam. So my mission is obviously for every ex-Muslim out there, the better, but any woman that leaves Islam, because I truly believe, like, I'm sure you all know, like without lies, Islam dies, but also without women being captive or, having Stockholm syndrome and thinking that Islam is beautiful and protective to them. As soon as women leave this religion, it will fall flat because it relies on women. It relies on women to produce for its ummah. It relies on women to allow men to enjoy polygamy and enjoy whatever the hell it wants. It allows women to be called deficient in religion and intellect and all these kind of things, which goes against everything we stand for today. So my target focus on the channel is for women empowerment and making them understand that concepts like the hijab and verses like 434 in the Quran are not precious and protective. They are disgusting, and we need to understand them for what they are. So if you're into that stuff, yeah, you can find me there. Thank you, AP.
Absolutely. Very, very well said. Very well put. We need that voice. We need your voice. We also have I had an idea that I still want to go through with, but that I kind of have been stalling for a while with like most of my projects. But there is still a project that Nuriyah and I want to make together, which will probably be in the form of a second channel that I'm creating and currently planning, where she will more than me present a message, but but we will basically do that together.
Yeah,
But
it will be the brainchild.
yeah.
I'll be the voice.
But yeah, we are planning that. So definitely, definitely, I will announce that when it's when it's there. But until then, definitely go and subscribe to her channel, Holy Humanist. Great work, wonderful stuff, and yeah.
But by
that's
the
it.
way, AP, because you were asking what you've missed, but we didn't really talk about the revolution in
Oh,
Iran, which to me it's interesting because one, you've got a revolution that's led and inspired by women, but I think a lot of people are missing the point that like the rest of the Muslim world is watching that, right? Like women in Afghanistan are watching this, going, "Can you actually pull this off here?" And
yeah.
like, could you actually topple a government like that? Because
I have been following that whole thing a little bit loosely. What's going on in Iran? I have been. I mean, my part was just to look at stuff that people tweet, look at the news, and just help spread it on a minor level. But I kind of lost touch with everything, including that, which is a little bit of a shame. I kind of stepped back at a very wrong time, I feel like. But it's still ongoing, and it's still
yeah,
it is very significant, right?
it's
Nuriyah,
still
do you have?
it's a really rough situation because I mean, if they lose, then it's going to be a while before someone's going to try again. And
Yeah.
if they win, that does send a message that you can have a brutal regime and actually topple it from within. So
There is one nice thing that I also put on the thumbnail earlier, which was there's this one slogan going around, which has become very universal from the whole Iran protests, which is wait, now I forgot it. Life, woman, freedom. I
Women, life,
believe.
freedom. Yeah,
Woman, life,
Jinjian
woman, life.
Azadi.
Jinjian Azadi. Yeah, I'm familiar with that slogan from Kurdish protesters and fighters from other places. But now, I guess since that whole thing started in Iran, that slogan became a slogan of the rebellion, of the revolution, and started spreading across the world. And people basically identify the current rebellion in Iran with that slogan because it all started with the oppression of women for not wearing their hijabs properly. Women started protesting. Women faced violence and anger and oppression in response. But then it wasn't just women. Men then joined, and everyone started protesting together. But since it started with women, that became kind of the face, the slogan of this movement, and it's really getting out of hand as far as I can see. And the Iranian regime is really threatened by these protests. That's what I see, but I'm kind of missing out on all of the details. I don't know if you guys want to talk about it at all.
Yeah, well, just as kind of just like a holistic view, it's like what David was saying, that the rest of the world is watching for sure, because this has now become a revolutionary movement to topple the entire Islamic regime. And while you have Muslims in the West and people saying, oh, the Iranian people have become Islamophobic and trying to shut it down with things like that, they do not care anymore. They are beyond caring, because as P, you were saying, it started off as a reaction to Mahsa Amini's killing by the quote unquote morality police. I call them the immorality police, but yeah, killing a 22-year-old for, showing 2 strands of hair. And you saw every single age group represented out in the streets of Iran protesting, where their lives were in danger. And as you saw, the Iranian regime, they were not stopping at anything. I mean, they've been jailing people left, right, and center, and we've seen like these executions and public executions. But again, in the day and age of social media now, my camera is my weapon. This is kind of what was going on in Iran for a while now, with the Wednesday protests, which were already women trying to challenge the morality police, where they would kind of tell them to put their hijab on properly, and they would all kind of take their hijab off, swing it in public, and it was usually a white cloth used to represent that protest. But this, after Mahsa Amini's killing, it kind of took on a whole new wave, and young boys, old men, old ladies, middle-aged, every single type of person was out there on the street saying enough is enough. And especially like, because this is a twofold situation, Mahsa Amini was Kurdish and she had just come to Tehran for tourism. So the woman life freedom slogan that you talked about actually originated in Kurdistan and was part of their movement anyway for independence. So now it's kind of escalated. And as David was saying, in Afghanistan now, what's trending a lot on Twitter these days as well is the slogan bread women freedom. Because in a country that's like de facto controlled by the Taliban, they do not even let women out of their houses now unless they're covered properly. And they're so strict about their rulings for that women are scared to leave their houses and they disincentivize them for even going to the market. So these families are, going hungry at home, can't even venture out because of fear of the Taliban. And so instead of women life freedom, it's literally women have to be replaced with bread, essentially, to survive. So wherever you see these Islamic regimes in power, these two, well, especially Iran is saying enough is enough. And they are a proud people and a proud nation. Like pre-Islam, they had so much going for them and they really, really are sick of what's happened. And I think previously the revolution was kind of stopped in its tracks and this theocracy had taken over, but this is really the time. And I don't know if you guys have been seeing, but on social media, like people that they have subjected to the death penalty and things like that have, because of social media, their last videos, they have outrightly said, do not read the Quran at my funeral. Do not pray. In fact, I want you to sing and dance and rejoice because I do not want these Islamic mullahs and the Islamic regime to have the last word. And I think that's very powerful.
That is extremely significant. It's very, very significant.
One side note that it's relevant going back multiple years is that I've been reading some of the things that the protesters are charged with, and something that keeps coming up over and over again is they're charged with spreading corruption in the land or waging war against Allah. And the reason that's so interesting to me is like for years, I don't see it brought up very much anymore, but for years, so you're talking 2005 to 2015, every time there was a terrorist attack, there'd be some politician and a bunch of journalists, CNN, all saying, according to the Quran, if anyone kills a man, it's as if he's killed all mankind. And even in that verse, which says it was for the Jews, there's a qualification, unless you're spreading corruption in the land. But then the very next verse, 533, says that the penalty for waging war against Allah and spreading corruption in the land is death, dismemberment, crucifixion, or exile or imprisonment, depending on the translation. But it's just interesting that you've got this verse that in the United States and Europe is being used to show that terrorism and violence has nothing to do with Islam. In fact, if you commit any sort of violence against another person, you're going against the Quran, because the Quran says that if anyone kills a man, it's as if he's killed all mankind. And yet the very next verse, 533, which gives this sort of blanket charge you can apply to anyone. If anyone spreading corruption in the land, what's that? You could say anything. If you're taking your hijab off, you could say you're spreading corruption in the land. If you're protesting against the government, you could say you're spreading corruption in the land. And so I don't know, it's still amazing to me that you've got a verse that, because this is not new, this has been for centuries, this verse is used to justify killing all kinds of people. And we're so utterly clueless in the West that we'll go to the verse before it, which is talking about a revelation to the Jews, chop that verse up so that make it sound like it's saying anyone who kills has nothing to do with Islam. It's just man.
Well, David, I mean, even Obama quoted that in all its glory, and I was like, read the next verse, mate. Like, read the next verse. But also, yeah, as you're saying, like, spreading fitna, right? Fitna, whether it's corruption or mischief. It is so open-ended. How do you define mischief? Even if you go back to Islamic sources and you see their descriptions of what fitna and corruption and mischief is, it is so all-encompassing. It's like a catch-all. Anybody that's not doing and preaching the dawah of Islam, basically, or not engaging in the proclamation of Islam, even if that's deceptive.
Ibn Kathir said it even includes just unbelief.
There we go.
That's enough. That's enough.
AP and I are screwed already.
Yeah, you guys got multiple death sentences.
We are
We've got
dead.
multiple charges, AP.
We are not. We shouldn't be alive technically.
We really shouldn't. It's a miracle. We are.
Yeah. Is Andrew Tate spreading corruption in the land? Said Billy Mandalay. I would say so. Yeah. But
I would definitely say so. Yeah. Wasn't he? Did you guys see that picture of him on his private jet or whatever, sipping Hennessy or some kind of yeah. And it's like he's just taken a shahada like a couple of weeks ago, and now he's just sipping. I mean, that I also heard Mohammed Hijab is really furious at him lately. I'm not sure why. I haven't kept up. I don't know if you guys already discussed that, but yeah, he's maybe he's causing fitna to the actual ummah.
I mean, it should be obvious that Andrew Tate had no real intention of becoming a proper Muslim or a practicing Muslim. That his whole conversion to Islam was just motivated by how Islam oppresses women and Islam is intolerant, and he loves that, and that's why he converts to Islam. So I don't even know what these idiots were expecting of him, but
it's rough because
at the same time.
Yeah, it's rough because I mean, since these guys promoted him, it's not just an embarrassment. It's like an embarrassment on them, right? It's like if someone converts to a religion and turns out to be a really bad person, okay, that's on the person. But if you prop the person up and then promote him and so on, then you're the one who's embarrassed because you did that. And
I don't understand that at all. If I was a Muslim and I was friends with these Dawa guys by some weird chance, and they said, hey guys, Andrew Tate just converted to Islam, he just became a Muslim, alhamdulillah, how about we contact him and we go on stage with him together and congratulate him and we initiate him and all of that, I would say don't be dumb, don't do it. Definitely don't do it. This will not be good for anybody. And think about the reputation of Islam first and foremost. You are probably not doing the right thing. This guy is highly problematic. He will continue to be problematic, and you will have helped him cause fitna. So don't do it. That's what I would probably say if I was a Muslim. And what do they actually do? The guy says, I am now a Muslim, and Mohammed Hijab immediately reaches out, goes on stage with him, has an interview, and proudly shows off this new Muslim Andrew Tate. I mean, are you dumb?
Well, the answer is yes, but
yeah. Okay, granted. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah. Let me from the. And then here's the example he's spreading. So you already pointed out the drinking on the plane and so on. I mean, really, it's like every day it's pictures of him like sitting here smoking a cigar. It's like, who sits around having someone record him constantly? Right? Like narcissist. That's it. That's
bro.
Yeah. But check this out. He said, Genghis Khan had endless woman. And notice this is the guy who condemns education. He can.
How do you know that? I thought books are bad. Yeah,
no,
books are bad.
Reading, but yeah.
Well, I thought books are for losers. How do you know this?
And the fact that he seems to be barely literate. He says Genghis Khan had endless woman, not women, woman. And
I
200.
thought that was you, David. I was like, David.
Wait, that's what Ali Dawah does all the time. Ali Dawah says woman always. Woman. When talking about. Yeah.
So Genghis Khan had endless woman and 200 children as reward for conquest. I am the most searched man on the planet. I have conquered Earth. I am the highest status male on the planet. Females do not expect loyalty from me. They only expect that of lesser men. If you think your woman really loves you, let her catch you cheating and see if she stays. It's actually part of his view that a really good woman who really loves you will be fine with you cheating because she realizes that, it's not your job to stay faithful. And I've seen him surrounded by women where he's explaining that to them. He's saying, hey, if you're a really wealthy guy, if you're a top G type, you have your pick of women. Which sort of woman do you think a guy is going to pick? One who's going to complain when he cheats, or one who's just going to say, nope, he can do what he wants. He says he's going to go with the guy. He's going to go with the girl who lets him do what he wants. And so he's actually educating women on that. But now he's educating Muslim women on how to be good women. If your guy cheats, let that
I,
slide.
I just want to say one thing. Dear Muslim apologists, please continue promoting Andrew
Please.
Tate. Continue promoting Andrew Tate in the name of Islam, and always make sure you connect him to Islam in public. Please continue doing this.
Touche. Yes, exactly. But also, David, AP, imagine, I was just thinking, you know, like, obviously he's always talking about high value men and high value women and this and that. And he thinks he's like extra high value. So cheating is like, you better expect this, babe, because like, this is just how I be, you know, this is how I roll because I'm so high value or whatever. But he needs to be mindful. Remember, if we take the Shia version of Islam, even a wife of his, like Aisha, they assume that even after his poisoning by the Jewish lady, Aisha might have even exacerbated that, you know, like she's seen a lot of his shenanigans go down. She said, I fear your Lord hastens to fulfill your desires. There's been skirmishes between the wives when Umar had to come and say, like, you know, his Lord could give him better wives. So if we take the Shia perspective, Andrew Tate, one of these days, one of these women is not going to sit back and watch you cheat because they're going to be like, enough is enough, you absolute scumbag. That's not how the world works.
You know what? I have to say, under the traditionalist view within Islamic tradition, to my knowledge, this is the majority view, Andrew Tate has, through his actions, committed kufr, and so blasphemy, and actually left Islam, and can now be called a kafir or an apostate from Islam, because I'm looking through his Twitter page and I just saw this, what he retweeted this here, and apparently this is no exception to the rule here.
No,
Who is
there's a bunch of
Andrew
those.
Tate? Who is Andrew Tate? In geography, my world. In reality, my life. In history, my king. This guy actually retweets this stuff from a fan. That's how narcissistic he is. In mathematics, my solution. In mythology, my god. In astronomy, my universe. If I'm blind, he's light. If I'm hungry, he's food. If I'm sick, he's medicine. For me, he's everything. I mean, first off, whoever tweeted this, how ridiculously messed up can you possibly be to actually do this? But secondly, forget about that. I know the answer to that. And Andrew Tate retweets this. He's so flattered by this. He actually retweets this stuff.
AP, doesn't he sound like Allah?
Yeah,
sounds like
very
he's
much.
trying to want to sound like Allah.
Very, very much. I mean, this is how you could possibly describe Allah within Islam. This is what
God
Allah
complex,
is to me.
man.
But and he's like, he actually endorses somebody calling him my God. And from my Western worldview,
there are other ones where people call him Lord and Savior and stuff, and he retweets those too.
I mean, from my Western perspective, you could still take this as just language, but Islam is not like Western worldview. In Islam, if you repeat something like this or endorse something like this, then you are actually committing blasphemy. You are engaging in blasphemy. You're doing what the Pharaoh did according to the Quran, and declaring yourself God besides Allah, and thereby you have become a blasphemer and a non-Muslim.
AP, you're right. Like literally, the line that you've highlighted, that is him equating himself to God, i.e., it's shirk, because he's associating other gods with God. So yeah, you're right.
This is literally kufr by Islamic. Yeah, this is shirk.
Yeah. Andrew Tate, you better watch out. Like me and AP have to watch out.
This is very funny to me.
Oh, it's extremely funny because he's done this multiple times, and you know what's going on behind the scenes, right? It's like every time he does this, he gets messages from, Muhammad Hijab. Come on, you're embarrassing us. But notice it, he has to deal with the same problem. The thing we've been pointing out for years now. When you have narcissists who are the main face of Islam, like Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah, and so, they don't do well with criticism, right? If anyone else in the Ummah says, "Hey, Muhammad Hijab or Ali Dawah, or Sheikh Uthman, you're doing it wrong. You should be doing this." You can't criticize them. If you do, you're just jealous, right? You're just jealous because of my influence and my powerful dawah, right? Because that's not going to work. But how are you going to tell the top G, who's got a massive God complex, that he's wrong? I mean, who Muhammad Hijab's gonna tell him? Where's Muhammad Hijab's Bugatti? Huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah, fair play.
There are some comments pointing this out, actually, saying you, as a Muslim, you cannot say this. Somebody is directly tweeting, then the Pharaoh summoned his people and called out, saying, I am your Lord, the Most High. So Allah overtook him, making him an example in this life and the next. Endorsing this is a nullifier of your Islam. We invite you to consider. This is very nicely put. In an Islamic society, they wouldn't invite him to consider. They would give him a chance to repent, maybe under different circumstances. They might not even give him a chance. They would probably just kill him right away.
but by the way, going back to what we mentioned earlier about his comments about women, that a woman really loves you. If a woman really loves you, she's gonna let you cheat and not have a problem with it. But notice, because he's talking to girls on how they can get wealthy men, and even now he's telling women of the Ummah, you need to just look the other way when your guy's cheating on you. That's how you know you're a good, loving wife. But notice, the only people who would want to be with a man and they're going to let him cheat are people who just want the money, right? You just want the money and the car and the house, and you don't actually care about him. You are with him because you want the other stuff. And so if he cheats, I don't care. What do I care if he cheats? I've still got all the stuff. I'm the one who gets to live here. Notice he's saying, if a woman really loves you, she'll let you cheat. And no, it's if a woman really does not care about you and just loves your money and wealth, then she'll let you cheat. But it's just interesting that this guy's, it's horrifying that he's influencing a younger generation of, young men here. But it's the fact that he's foisting this upon the Ummah, where it will find a pretty comfortable home as soon as he didn't. And notice most of what he's saying they'd be fine with. He's just crossing lines of shirk and stuff like that. If he dialed it back even slightly, he's going to be like their greatest hero.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't, I don't know why he's going along with the shirk thing and the drinking and stuff, because it's a slippery slope he's going down, whereas before the Muslim following for him was there were obviously like certain Muslim women I was very proud of. No, he's, this is how he is. This is what he's done to women in the past. How can we accept him? But then it was overarchingly, they accepted him. But like, it's so sad, David, because exactly what you're saying about the whole cheating thing and not loving your partner is because, I don't really like this guy, so let him do what he wants, but I'm secure and he's giving me a Lamborghini every once in a while, and he pays for my house and all of that, so I'm cushy. Why let him do? And I'll have boyfriends of my own. I'll live a double life. Who cares? This regressive kind of way of like living and having this whole setup. What he's like, I grew up in Saudi and the UAE, and this is actually what happens there, because they actively, a lot of them have 4 wives. So if you go to Saudi, you'll see a lot of villas that have 4 identical parts to them, and there's those 4 wives. And because Islam says if you can't treat them all equally, don't have 4. So these rich Saudi men make the exact same villa complex times 4, and they keep their 4 wives there. But those wives don't really care. They're just getting their luxury cars, their drivers, their maids, everything sorted for them. And so they're fine. But all love is lost, because it's just like, this is the guy who takes care of my life. We have no connection whatsoever. I go and do my own thing, and he can do whatever he wants. We sit together once a week for dinner. That's the formality. And then he pays for everything. And Andrew Tate in this day and age is getting these young guys to start thinking as backwards as that now. It's just so sad to see.
Yeah, I want to make a video titled Andrew Tate, the Perfect Muslim. And like perfect in the sense that, you were talking about Muhammad earlier and his relationships, but I mean, just think about something like, so Muhammad could have multiple wives and get away with that because of, revelations, and even sex slaves. But for some reason, what Hafsa regarded as cheating was having sex with a slave girl in her bed. That's what that was too much. You've crossed the line. So if you want to have sex with your slave girl, that's on you. If you want to have sex with one of your other wives, that's fine. But if you want, don't do it in my bed. Don't have sex with your slave girl in my bed while I'm out running errands. So she catches him, and then they all flip out about that. But notice they're regarding that as cheating, and then Allah comes in to rescue Muhammad and condemn the wives for not being good wives. But I mean, notice the parallel. It's I get to do what I want. You shut up about it. And so I mean, he's really following the pattern. Because I mean, think about it. The real pattern of Muhammad is if you're on top, you get to do whatever you want, and everyone else needs to shut up. But that's like, wait, if you're the top G, who are you gonna? You're the top G. How's anyone else gonna tell? If he constantly refers to everyone else as lesser men and inferior men and stuff like that. So I don't know how's anyone gonna tell this guy what to do?
I remember Ali Dawah made a video a while ago before Andrew Tate converted to Islam, in which he kept calling him a low value man and no value man and something like that. And I actually watched that video, and that was the first time in my life that I sat down and I thought, wow, good job, Ali Dawah, well done. And but I wonder how his views changed now that Andrew Tate is a Muslim. Like, did he change now? Does he like Andrew Tate now, or does he now think he's a high value man because he's now a Muslim, and Muslims are high value men and all of that? I'm curious.
He's high value AP, like you've gone and done Hajj and you kissed the black stone and your sins have been cleansed and you're a newborn baby.
That's high value. Yeah.
That's high value shit.
Now you can commit all the shirk you want.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hajj again next year and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Still talk about babes and call people all kinds of names and still say you are God, but at least you can go to Hajj. Maybe that makes sense. How about I never watched this video. Do you guys think it would be cool to, David, do you have any time? You don't have time probably, right?
I have to be going soon, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Yep, my wife has to go to bed. I have to go watch some kids. And by the way, my voice isn't holding up very well, and I'm constantly trying not to go into a coughing fit. So it'd be a good time to wrap up here in a few.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I probably have to go too, but I just really wanted to watch this video where Andrew Tate explains why he became a Muslim, but I can do that separately. Nobody cares. I didn't watch that whole video, but I was really curious if he actually gives a proper reason why he converted, or if it's all just Western society bad, Islam good, and therefore Islam. I guess that's basically what it is.
I think AP, he also loves how I guess Christianity was too low value for him. It wasn't as strict and rigid as enough as Islam. He wants some God to crack the whip. And Allah cracked the whip for him a lot more than any other religion, I guess. But yeah, enjoy that video when you watch it.
It's very nice, very convenient that Andrew Tate Andrew Tate has expectations from how the Almighty God should be, and then picks his religion based on the one God that fits his expectations of a high value God, who is Allah, who is also basically like Andrew Tate. That's very convenient, very nice.
How convenient that he picks the religion with sex slavery. Very convenient. Oh, of course.
He would love that. I don't know if you saw the tweet that we pulled up earlier of him saying wait, I have to put that up again now. I don't know if you've seen that part of our conversation here. Oh no, I don't have it here.
Sorry, but I can rewatch it anyway if it's long.
No, it was something about how men who don't have 10 children and don't have 4 wives are pussy bitches or something like that.
God. What is wrong with this guy?
And then there was a Muslim woman there agreeing with him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you guys, listen, I just want to say before we wrap up, if this is bad, right, what we're talking about, but today I just witnessed a video on YouTube after my Andrew Tate post on Twitter, because I've kept quiet about this. I don't even want to talk about him. I don't want to give him the time of day, nor his conversion. But then I was like, let me say my piece, and I posted one post about him. And somebody commented underneath with a video, and I think it was like a podcast out of India or Pakistan, one of those two countries. And a woman was saying that, oh, so I've started socializing with high society now, and all of these women are trying to go by Islam, and so they're telling their husbands, don't have 4 wives, but just have mistresses and girlfriends, just don't marry them. But I say, no, you have no right to stop them marrying them. Islam allows them to have 4, so why are we not being good enough and allow? And I was like, what? My eyes were bleeding, my ears were bleeding. I was like, this is a notch below Andrew Tate. This is a woman saying this. She's like, how dare you want him to just have a girlfriend? Make sure you attend their nuptials and celebrate them.
And then like AP was pointing out, this is the sort of guy who would like sex slaves, because that's how he wants to treat them. But I mean, just imagine there's a guy who had to flee because he's being investigated for sex trafficking charges and for holding women captive and stuff like that. And he flees to Romania. But I mean, imagine this guy in a Muslim country having some women captive or something like that. Like,
No, he would.
what are you gonna charge him with?
Oh, here I got it. Wait, I just looked for it. Here it is. Andrew Tate said just recently, just a week ago, he said, imagine having less than 10 children because you're a pussy bitch who doesn't have 4 wives. Genetic failures.
Oh my goodness.
I still cannot figure this guy out, if this is just one massive troll or if he is just the absolute narcissist who really thinks like all of this.
I'm with you, David. I'm torn between that. Like, and thirdly, does he really need help? It's one of the 3. Like, time will tell which one it is. But yeah.
Well, one thing that is known is that narcissists, like I would say, I mean, if I was given this as an assignment in college, I would say, okay, this is definitely the example of a narcissist. And the problem with this kind of narcissist would be that if you tell him that there is something wrong with him, he will never accept that there is actually something wrong with him. If you make a diagnosis, if you make an analysis of him and say, look, this is why you are the way you are, he will not accept that. So you cannot possibly help this guy. You cannot treat this guy. This guy thinks he's God.
I've seen him deny that he's a narcissist. He said his dad was a narcissist, but not him. But by the way, AP, scroll down to that Samira's comment right there.
Oh yeah.
Tate's absolutely right.
Oh my God, I have seen this. And her comments defending him is what propelled me to do my post on him, because I was like, not a woman defending him right now. No, this is the lowest. Oh gosh, I don't know, AP, how much Stockholm syndrome is there in you to be one of 4 wives and advocate that and love it and what does she want to do? Like, be there as a concubine, as a wife? What? Send your applications. I'm sure. I think he actually responded to one of her tweets and he commented saying wifey.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
This is the representative of Islam nowadays. Somebody said, since you want to talk about genetic failures, and then posted about cousin marriage in Arab countries. But yeah.
Sounds like something you'd do, AP.
I don't know. I just want to look at him and think there's something really wrong with him. I wouldn't necessarily go to that. But yeah, really, really weird stuff going on. But as I leaned back and looked at the whole scene, at all the news here, I thought, Andrew Tate, Kanye West, something is really, really wrong with this year. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It is creepy how much of this stuff is popping up, and how people actually cling to some of these guys.
Yeah,
I mean, at least with Kanye, I mean, almost everyone said, "All right, this is nuts." But with Andrew Tate, I mean, there are of course Muslims who are clinging to him, but also young non-Muslims who think he's just so cool.
Yeah. But I think it is actually good that his account is now available on Twitter, that he's not censored, because I think now that he's visible out there and shares all this extremely idiotic line of thinking and all of these repulsive ideas here, people will just openly see what this is, and there will no longer be a hype about this forbidden guy. and I think that would help with the whole Andrew Tate mystery and amazement to slowly go away, I would say. I don't know. People are stupid. Sam Miles said, glad to see you both back on the airwaves. Gotta go taking care of a set of nieces and nephews, triplets and twins, and my other sister's pet dog. Thank you so much, Sam Miles. Thank you for always being here, and have fun with that. Omega, does anybody want to go, by the way? You can...
You're just going to be going through super chats?
I have a few super chats here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I'll give you 5 minutes, then I'm leaving.
Okay. I'm gonna...
with David.
Okay. I'll be through them very quickly. Omega Rasetsu said, let's admit the German solution is to try the same thing repeatedly while negatively bemoaning the previous iteration, German world order and Marxism.
That's why I never trust Germans, man.
This was about our whole discussion about Germany censoring things. Kicker Torch said, David Wood, peace be upon him, and AP, peace be upon him. Good morning from Australia. I assume that is. Thank you, mate. Zagros Özkan said, basically, Nuriyah became a radical feminist. What? So a radical feminist?
That's why she doesn't like Andrew Tate.
Yes, I don't like Andrew Tate.
Yeah, everyone who doesn't like Andrew Tate is a radical feminist, basically. I don't know what this is about. Graze174 said, if each of you could pick a religion to be true, what would be your first and last choices? I think David would probably pick Islam.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. David, what would you pick? I'm really curious right now.
I don't know. Hard call, man.
Yeah. You have to think about that. I'll give you some time to think about it. Each religion to be true. That's a very weird question. You would have to be convinced that it is true in order to then declare that it is true. So to present this hypothetical and to think about which religion you would pick as true, you would have to put yourself in the position where you are convinced that religion is true. I don't know. I don't understand. This doesn't really.
AP, you don't have to tip around. You don't have to tiptoe around the issue just because D Wood's here. Come on.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think there is a proper answer to this question, honestly. Nuriyah, what do you say?
No, I agree with you. You'd have to assume. You'd have to presuppose that it was true.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not well versed in the ones that I would like to think I'd maybe explore more if I had the time and energy. Maybe Buddhism, I guess, animism, something where I see God in everything, or something very, something that doesn't demand my time and energy, like the opposite of Islam.
Yeah, something. Yeah, I would think maybe Andrew Tateism, but I don't know.
Ooh, AP.
See, you are a top GAP.
He is a top G.
I looked at some of these tweets and I really got affected, man. I don't know, something is happening. Angel ASMR said, is David Wood still a Christian? More Prophet Tales episodes. Thank you, guys. I didn't convert to the Mohammedist cult. Thanks to y'all. Heart. David, you're no longer a Christian, right? As far as I know.
No, I'm still a Christian.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's still happening. And more Prophet Tales episode. Yeah, I'm back. I'm getting back. I'm going to work on creativity.
How long does it? That seems like some time-consuming work.
What do it is?
I mean, I do episodes of Muhammad's Boom Boom Room, and it takes forever because there's writing the script, and then there's traveling because none of us live in the same area. So then there's traveling and stuff like that. Then there's the setting up and recording and getting into costume. And then even after that, there's the editing because we'll record hours of footage doing our lines different ways and stuff and then compile it and stuff like that. So it actually takes a lot of stuff for one episode. But I'm guessing that with Prophet Tales, you don't have to travel much, but animation seems like a nightmare.
Yeah. It is. I mostly do the whole thing. I mean, we only did one episode. We only finished one episode so far.
You didn't do the whole thing. You don't do animation.
No, I don't do it.
Oh, okay.
We're working on other stuff, on more episodes. But what's happening is just I have the idea of the topic. I kind of write a script, think of the characters. I thought about the music, but it was Saiten, who is the animator, who actually sang the intro song for me, and he did it brilliantly. And he also does half of the voices, the best ones actually. He does the animation, his style. I mean, he has a YouTube channel, and he had great videos in the past. But
I
he
like how
didn't
he does the
publish
voice.
videos.
I like how he does the voices for like there are accents like Richard Dawkins, like British accents like Richard Dawkins that make you sound smart, right? And if you're
Yeah.
talking like this, you automatically sound intelligent or whatever you're saying. But there are other accents. I don't know what the areas are, but there are other accents where the accent sounds like an idiot. So I guess the parallel would be like in the United States, like some like just total redneck hillbilly or something like that version. But he'll do like Muhammad with that kind of kind of accent.
No, I love it. I love the whole accent thing that he has going on. But I contacted him because I had this idea of creating a cartoon based on hadiths. I thought it would be hilarious. I contacted him and he was like, "Hey, that's amazing. I want to do it right away." So that was very good. We took a break because of me, but we're going to get back to that and make more episodes. And it will be good. We will feature some Muslim apologists who have agreed to come and do the voices for their own characters.
But by the way, Nuriyah, you live over there. Where is that from? That them talk like this because we've got to go. Like, where is that?
It's what we call like roadman accent here. It's kind of like just a bit more Cockney slang. It's kind of like it's called roadman, so it's less the Queen's English and more. It's got a lot of Jamaican patois integrated into it. I don't know if you've watched Ali G ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of that kind of hype.
Isn't that what they call? What is that word? There was this word that some people use for.
Cockney?
No, there was some word that people use for people in the London area that speak a more broken English with, I don't know. There was a word I'm trying to remember, but
not wasteman, right?
No,
Okay.
no.
But you've got people like Russell Brand has I'm not saying he's an idiot. His voice sounds like an idiot, right?
Oh yeah, that's a Cockney accent. He's very East
okay,
London.
that's what that is. All right,
accent.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought his accent sounds good. I thought it sounded good. Yeah, but yes, no, that's definitely in the works. Christian Gunnut said, as Zakir Naik trading card would be rad. This whole idea with trading cards after Trump is just fantastic.
We got to make Dawa trading cards. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I want to make Muhammad trading cards.
Oh, Muhammad cartoon trading cards. Ooh.
Tanky said, great to see you back, legend. Oh, that was before Nuriyah joined. That's why there are only two legends.
Oh, AP, humble me.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it just to make you feel better. Dragon Belzy said, Uthman went to 7-Eleven and spilled a cherry-flavored Slurpee on himself. Don't say that. You don't know. Maybe it was real. Secular Sakai made a super sticker, which I cannot see right now, but I bet it was a good one. Thank you so much. Dawn Singer said, AP, David, and Nuriyah, please make Harris Sultan and Robert Spencer friends. I guess there is a fight going on between them. And
they don't get along, which is weird because I like both of them.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I guess there's this whole thing going on right now where Robert Spencer says you're acting like a Muslim or like an Islamist, and he says you're acting like a typical bigot or racist or something, and they just at each other's throats. Or something.
I also think it's like I haven't followed it, but just some of their little interactions. I think it's like I think Harris Sultan has a problem with Hinduism as well, and Robert doesn't really care, and so.
Yeah, I think that's it as well. I think Harris thinks Robert's being a bit sympathetic towards certain elements of Hinduism, whereas he should call it out. And yeah, but Don, I don't think we're going to be able to do anything about that.
Yeah, I don't care.
They're two
Fight
adults,
it
and
out.
they've just got to hash it out themselves, really.
Fight it out. Have a good old
Yes.
duel, and the
Have
one
a
who
good old
survives
duel. I
wins.
like that, AP.
Yeah, fantastic, right? Henry Kroll said, "Always a pleasure to hear your words, Nuriyah and AP." Not David Wood, obviously.
That was when David wasn't here.
Thanks for being public leaders for non-believers. Thank you. I appreciate it. Also, this is about non-believers. That's why they don't count you.
That's why. Thank you, Andy.
P.S. Get rid of David Wood.
No problem. Immediately. It will happen. Just wait for it. Amateur Ant said, "I'm not a Muslim and never will be, but Andrew Tate knows how to troll and he's great at it. Muslims, atheists, and Christians just got trolled hard, and I am LMFAO right now." You know, trolling is funny, and I find very offensive trolling quite funny too. And I giggle and laugh to myself reading the most offensive, brutal stuff on the internet that people find completely unacceptable. The issue is, I don't think that with Andrew Tate, this is just limited to trolling. He's just genuinely a piece of crap, and he is just genuinely out there spreading all kinds of disgusting ideas.
Yeah, it seems like a mixture. It seems like like he clearly says stuff that is designed to stir up a lot of controversy, which is why in some instances you have to be kind of reluctant to respond. If he's trying to generate a response and get everyone arguing, you kind of don't want to respond. But with him, it's kind of a mixture with the narcissism and some of this stuff he actually believes, and then the conversion to Islam. But yeah, if it weren't for converting to Islam and actually going out and hanging out with all these guys and doing interview with all the Dawah guys, if it weren't for that, like understanding, hey, you're gonna be a target for the rest of your life. If it weren't for that, then I mean, he could come out next week and say, I was just joking about everything, and it wouldn't surprise me. But with that, it's like, man, if you're joking, you're taking this joke. This would be like Andy Kaufman died a long time ago, but he was so epic at messing with people. Like, there are people today who think he's just joking and he's just playing a big prank and never died, because he was known for that. But like, I mean, you know, that would, if Tate is like converting and then spends years as a Muslim, then comes out, oh, by the way, I was joking. That'd be like some Andy Kaufman level stuff there. It
would be so satisfying to me if Andrew Tate actually came out after a while and started bashing Islam.
Yeah. Oh, like if he came out and said, I just wanted to show how dumb these Dawah guys are, that they'd agree with me no matter what.
To me, I would still, I would probably go out and I would probably make a reaction to that then and laugh about how dumb these Islamic apologetics are. I don't want to say Islamic apologists, because not all of them, but most, while also addressing how you could never trust these scumbag like Andrew Tate. You know, I will not, like the Muslim apologists, then embrace Andrew Tate because he did something that is, funny and hurtful to Islam. No, the guy is a scumbag and he will stay a scumbag. Just him changing his allegiances doesn't change that at all. And if Muslims understood that, and didn't fall for the shape-shifting, good word, then they would probably not be dumb enough to promote such a person. Yeah. Shiv said, finally I caught Noor live.
Oh, hi Shiv. Yeah, it's been a long time. Sorry, Shiv's one of the regulars on my channel usually.
I thought he was referring to me as Noor because of the light that I'm radiating, which
that is brilliant. That is freaking brilliant. The light of Allah that you are radiating, you know?
Yes,
it always was.
Of course, I'm not Andrew Tate, only he is like Allah in radiating light to the world.
Well, what's funny is he could actually tweet that, right? I am the Noor.
But AP, on that note, if it's okay, I will leave you because it's about to be 4 a.m. here. So I just wanted to come say hi and thank you so much for the invite today. This was really fun.
Of course, of course. And I
Yeah.
feel really, really happy to have you here and hope to see you back again here, just for
For
casual conversations like these.
Yeah, and
For
it's
sure.
funny. It's funny because AP has you up all night for his live stream when he talks about Andrew Tate being a narcissist.
No, to be fair, he was very mindful of the time, and I still said I'll try my best. But yeah, okay.
I'm
honestly,
basically Andrew Tate. Yeah.
no, I'm not going to let this happen. Zagros, I stand by AP. He is not a misogynist. Andrew Tate is. But no, David, it was such a pleasure chatting to you as well live. Honestly, I'm sitting with two of my heroes today. So thank you both, and good night from the UK.
Thank you. Good night, Nuriyah. See you again.
Good night, UK.
Bye, guys.
Alrighty. Who else? Coltover said, AP, he is asking which religion would you want to be true. Oh, really? Is that what the question was about? I don't know. That's a weird question too. I think I would go for a few of those. It would be either some form of Buddhism or Taoism, or it would be Christianity. That's what I would say. And
you're right. You're right on one. You're right on one of the three.
I'm only saying Christianity to make people happy here. Otherwise, no. I'm just kidding. That's really what I think. Yeah, Shiv said that animation was unbelievable. I know that the guy is doing great work. Saitan, I could never do that. So.
We need to get famous enough to where we have our own team of like animators at all times. We just yell our ideas at them and they make it happen.
Yep, exactly. How much more? I'm just stalling right now to make David.
He's just trying to destroy my life and marriage.
Yeah. Matthew Noyes said, let's see some AP or David Wood destroys video clips. Wow, yeah, definitely. See some more. How about AP destroys David Wood video clips?
AP destroys Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
By being more misogynistic.
Yeah, AP humiliates Andrew Tate by being even tougher and even more high value.
Hey, I told you in a text message after Andrew Tate said, that what impresses him about Islam is that if you walk down the street with a Muhammad is gay shirt, you'd be dead by the time you got to the end of the street. And I was like, crap, now I have to do this, don't I? You just put this forward as an argument. It's the same thing like when I made a video, will a cat walk in the Quran? I have no interest in seeing if a cat will walk in the Quran. Muslims were using this as evidence. A cat will not walk in the Quran. This is the proof. And so I went and put a Quran in front of a cat. Cat walked all over it. Right. So I make a video and then they went, oh, I can't believe it. It's like, you guys did. You guys made the test. Well, guess what? Andrew Tate made the test. You'd be dead before you got to the end of the street. All right. Now I have to, not me, guys. Not me. It's the Andrew Tate challenge. So we got to make Muhammad was gay shirts with on the back and the Andrew Tate challenge. And then people can make videos of themselves walking to the end of the street.
That'll be nice.
That'd be
and
cool.
then we'll be responsible for the deaths of multiple people around the world.
Oh yeah, that would suck if a bunch of people actually got killed. That's a risk I'm willing to take, Avy.
Yeah. This challenge proves that Andrew Tate was right about Islam. Islam is true. So many people died to prove this. Yeah, amazing. Okay, that's gonna be it, I guess. Thanks everybody for joining today. I will be back. We'll do some more stuff soon. And David, thank you also for fulfilling your obligations and joining this stream. Anything else that you want to add before we leave?
Nope, just Top G. Everyone follow Top G.
Top G, high value.
Not the Top G for nothing.
Yeah, and high value and stuff like that.
High value.
Top G. And what color is your Bugatti? Yeah, that's also one of those.
What color is your Bugatti?
Yeah. And with that said, have a fantastic night, everybody. and stay away from Andrew Tate. Stay away from
Islam.
Islam. Yeah.